recorded on the computer. Okay, well, we're going to repeat that because I didn't record, and because it doesn't hurt to repeat it to yourself a few million times so it finally gets through your head, believe me, because that is what the studying of this stuff and trying to retain it and get it through your head takes repetition, repetition, repetition. I'm telling you. Okay, so anyway, anybody tuning in after this is recorded, I'm talking to people and just telling them we just have to do what I just did, some of it over again, because I wasn't recording. And what I'm doing is I'm explaining via a blender and a picture of the hoof, the basic structure and anatomy that we always need to remember, that we need to picture in our heads and we need to know. So I'm going to go back to that to share a screen. And this is a program called Blender. And this is a foot that Milena Minotti, who lives in Argentina, made for me and for TACT, so we could understand the basic structures of the foot. Now let me get rid of this box here. Come on, box, get out of the way. Or maybe I can just, can I delete it? I don't know. We'll just get out of the way. Grab, come on, box. There we go. I don't even know why the box is there. I've been going to learn this, but I haven't yet. Okay, so here is the foot with the hoof capsule on it. We're just going to take a look at that. Now, the hoof capsule grows in one unit. All the pieces grow together. When you take it off, it's like a shoe. They are all seamlessly formed together. You really see it when you see the inside of the hoof capsule, how it is just like a shoe. Just a minute, I'm going to pull one up, so hold on. Pictures. Okay. We're going to look at a couple hoof capsules here in the raw. Just a sec. Okay, this will work. New share. I'm probably going to have to redo that. New share. Okay, so we're just going to look at this hoof capsule. So that's the inside. This hoof capsule here is deformed. Okay, you don't realize it just from here, but when you look at the foot was very deformed. That's because this hoof capsule was trimmed wrong. Like this frog stay, which on the other side of there is the central sulcus. This is pulled all the way down to the ground. All this should have been at least an inch up off the ground up here. The foot was crammed into a smaller capsule than it should have been. See, these should not stick up like that into the bottom of the foot. So what happens when you're trimming the back of that foot out, this is all pulled down. The bars are bent up into the bottom of the foot like that. They're supposed to just be real smooth, not bulging up. So even that is going to be painful for the horse when that's pushed up into the bottom of his foot right here. And you can, okay, so those would have been pushed up right there into the bottom of his foot. So again, this is a deformed capsule, and this is a very damaged foot from being forced into a little tiny capsule that was smaller than his foot. So this is why we want a capsule that fits. We want a shoe that fits the foot. And of course, I was measuring. Now this is your standard barefoot height on heels. Oh, just a minute. Just a minute. Okay, had to say goodbye to my husband there. Okay, so you can see that these heels have been trimmed barefoot. You see the length, and you see how the foot has been pulled down in the back. Just a minute. Okay, see this? How that's rounded? Okay, let's go look at our other foot here, because it's not well, our blender foot. Let me go over to blender here. Okay, see the definition of the heel right here? Just a minute. Let me move Mr. Frog. Okay. Come on. Quit that. Okay, see the definition of the heel is very defined. See the coronary band comes back around like this. It stays high, coming around the back of the foot like that, see? And the heel, you see the definition of the heel here? Okay, now if we look again over at this other foot that was barefoot trimmed for 16 years by a professional, and when I say professional, and I mean a super nice gal, okay, but she was trained by Dr. Strasser in Germany, and then she come over here, and if I remember right, she also took training either from Pete Ramey, Jamie Jackson, maybe all of them, I don't know, you know. And so, but look at the back of this foot. Do you see any definition in a heel? See, I don't. And again, this is your typical Strasser height. This horse was ready for a trim. I can tell you that because I did this heel trimming. I learned it from Cheryl Henderson, okay, who I didn't know it was Strasser, that was Strasser. See, a lot of these barefoot gurus, people that started this, they were doing what Strasser taught about heel height, but nobody knew that's where that came from. Okay, see, and the way that Cheryl Henderson taught it was you just lower the heels to the periople flap right there, or 1 1/8 inch. So where's the 1 inch? There's the 1 inch. Yep, 1 1/8 inch. There you go, right there. That's what I lowered my heels to for 6-7 years. I mean, I was doing this for 10 years, and the first type of heel I trimmed was just taking it back to the widest point of the frog. But if you do that enough and your frog wears out, you're going to wind up doing this same thing. Okay, so now you see how it deformed this foot right here. There is no there's no definition to the heel. See? Okay, am I sharing the right thing? Yes, yep. I am. Okay. Okay, so again, let's look at this. Look at the definition. So what does it do to this back of this heel when you trim the heels out? Well, just a minute here. It does this. It crushes them. See? To make the foot like that. Just a minute.
We don't hear you, Linda.
Okay, there I am. Yeah, I had to cough, so I did that. So make sure you alert me, because otherwise, well, I was talking for half an hour. Okay, all right. So just a second here. Okay, so this foot, am I back on the blender foot? Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so the capsule on this foot, just a minute here, is temporal. It is that inner foot that is the horse. Your hair is not you, right? But it grows from your head. Well, same thing with this capsule. The capsule is not the horse. What's inside is the horse. It's attached to the horse, and it's a specific way, just like your feet are a specific way. And so this shoe that it grows has to fit it a specific way, a certain structural way. Now, it doesn't show it on here. Oh, wait a minute. Doesn't show it on here. Okay, but there is a specific structure to this. Okay, so that structure, and this is for every single horse, has the same anatomical foot. Again, they might have a little different angle here on their true foot, which is inside. Not much though. There ain't a big difference. And they might have some hoof distortions. But if they didn't have those hoof distortions, all their feet, it'd be just like us. Do humans all have the same foot, basically, anatomically?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we all have the same nose? Is that Sharon?
No, it's Janet.
Oh, is that
I
Janet?
came in late. I came in
Okay.
late. Sorry.
Hi.
Hi.
Do we all have the same hands?
No.
Well, yes, we do. We all have 5 fingers, right?
Well, most people in general.
Okay, well, we all
I'm
have the same lips.
I was thinking of arthritic versus baby hands.
Okay, well,
Arthritic I got.
okay. Well, in general, anatomically, well, I mean, we know that from a fetus to an 80-year-old man, those hands are going to grow and change. Okay. But in general, the general human has the same feet, the same eyes, the same nose, the same ears, the same heart, the same intestines, unless they're a man and a woman. There's some differences, right?
Agreed.
Right.
Okay, so if we all did not have the same feet, shoe companies could not make shoes for us. See, if some of our feet were hooves, see, I'm talking in general anatomy. When you go to get your heart worked on, that guy has, oh, my husband, I hope we win.
Well, the drawing was last night, so we could be billionaires
and not even know it. Well, check that.
1.2 billion.
Oh, my husband's showing the mega bucks ticket here. Obviously, we probably didn't win.
Did anyone?
Okay. Anyway,
somebody in Illinois won.
Huh?
Somebody in Illinois won the ticket. One ticket won it.
You're kidding,
That's
really?
disgusting.
Yep, one person in Illinois won the
Jeez,
ticket.
That's
God, I hope they
crazy.
do something very. Yeah.
Most of them just do
$1 billion.
stupid crap and wind up broke.
I hope they set up a foundation for something.
Yeah, do something to help somebody. We'll see.
Contact him, Linda.
Yeah, help us. Yeah. Okay.
Please, yeah.
So anyway, anatomically, all these horses have the same foot. Okay, and they have the same needs for the same capsule. Like they all have this kind of a basic heel that has definition to it. New share. Okay, like that. Only when they really wear their heels out or they get trimmed out and all this gets pulled down does it change this. And so if we know all this, if we know what this foot is supposed to look like, and then we can start to understand how the capsule should fit it. We should start to understand that, let me get this
I
on
love
here.
this whole visual thing. I like the straight one.
Isn't it great?
I'm
Now-
like, that's nice.
Now see, here's where this is the heel buttress right here. Well, I don't really like that angle.
That looks
I would
like,
make
you know,
it
some of ours.
steeper. I would change some things on this foot. But anyway, so the hoof wall, but you see that big chunk of wall back there, how important that is in supporting the back of the foot up here. And how when you just indiscriminately think you can just trim it down. Okay, now here's the thing. How is it that you can get heels that are that long and you don't run into blood here?
Because it's all pushing up.
Right, as you're pulling this down, it's pushing that up. See?
Yeah, that's where you get that big convex, concavity,
Concavity,
whatever.
yeah.
It's up in there. Like the whole, it's just like a big arch in there.
Yeah. Let me see. Where am I on to?
I always screw up my concave and my convex, but
Oh.
you know what I mean.
Yeah. And so there is a
Can I ask a question about that, the convex and the concave?
yeah.
Because I've seen both on my mare,
Yeah.
and right now, you know, she's more flat, you know, but I've seen her and other horses really just all concave. So would I assume there that the bars are pushed up and that the you know, it's out of proportion because you see mostly concave and no convex?
Yeah.
Oh,
the,
okay.
the bars are right here internally up under there. Okay.
Uh-huh.
They're growing right there. So now
Okay.
what happens to them? Think about it. When all this is pulled down this way, what happens to them? They
They get
start
pushed
going
up.
like this.
Go up. Yeah, that's a new
See?
piece for me. So, okay.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, as all this is happening, we're still trimming the bottom of the foot the same way. So we actually trim a whole phony foot into this thing. Okay. The bars are gone. Like if the bars were normal, I don't know if I could draw it, but they'd be, let's see, they'd be kind of like this, you know, kind of like that. And so they're getting pushed up that way, but we're still trimming them. This part here, that'd be the part we'd trim in there. We're still trimming it like it's normal. And so even though all this is being pulled down, the sole and the bars are looking really similar, the same, and we're not noticing what's going on.
It's the same thing where we have the apex of the toe is, you know, then it goes up, it arches, and then it bends back down where the apex is, and then you've got all that fake sole grow in for support.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you have this, your apex looks like it's being buried deep with like fake sole on either side, so deep you're like, what is all that?
Yeah, I found that too. You know, you think you're finding the apex of the frog, but in reality, that's just excess frog in front of the true apex that's buried deep because you've had a bunch of sole buildup. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Linda,
Yeah.
go back to the bars. You know how you look at the bottom of the foot and often you'll see like this ridge that runs right up along the side of the frog, right up to the apex. It's like an extension of the bars. How do we know that that's not just the foot growing sole? Because there seems to be like a break right at the end of the bar, and then it's like this ridge that runs up the side. How do we know that that's not sole? Like, what is that?
Well, I think that is sole. And I've actually seen it even get a side to it that looks exactly like bar.
Should we be taking that out though to level the sole?
Well, I keep it cleaned out. I think all that is supposed to fill up kind of eventually, but it's not supposed to be lumpy and congested like what we see, because the bottom of these feet, just a minute, the bottom of these feet, come on, how come we not moving? Oh, because I got the annotate on. Okay, the bottom of the foot here. Okay, see, it's so smooth right along here, you know, so everything has a place. So you don't want to let it build up in a way that would not be form fitted to the foot. See, let's look at a live one here. Just a second here. Okay, so Okay, so look at this foot here. See the corium here?
Right.
How it's damaged?
Mhm.
Okay, look how this was allowed to build up in here. See, now let's go look at that other foot because I'm pretty sure the other foot doesn't look anything like this. Oh, and here, while we're here, let's just take a look at this foot. Oh, what are you doing? Okay, see here, you can see how the foot was had internal imbalance. There's no way that you could fix that hoof capsule to fix this medial lateral imbalance this horse had, because it was literally put into his foot through damage. And it was, so by this time, yeah, it was the hoof capsule, but it had literally deformed and damaged the foot. So yeah, look what it did to the toe. Just a second. I gotta see if I can find something. Hold on. Now this capsule wasn't perfect for sure. Okay, but see, it didn't really have the same kind of buildup as that other. I mean, she had full sole in here. Oh, just a minute. Hold on, I gotta get something for my husband.
Are we watching something?
I don't think so. I think we're waiting. I hope.
Anything yet, guys?
I don't see anything.
No,
Does she know she's not doing anything?
I think
I
so.
don't know.
I think she said just a minute. I have to do something with my husband or something.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah, you know how that goes. Okay.
Oh yeah.
You know. Okay. Okay, so what I'm saying is, on this horse here that had a perfect foot, not necessarily perfect
There's
hoof
no picture,
capsule.
Linda.
No picture,
Oh,
Linda.
sorry, new share. New share. Even though she had a lot of sole in here, it wasn't like congested like what you see on that other horse. See how the foot, there wasn't the damage to any of this foot, like what you see there.
right.
Okay, see, it totally looks different on the inside too. Okay, remember how I said on that other horse? Now this is the bars right here. It's the bottom of the collateral groove and the bar right in here. Right, well, right in here. And so you see how smooth this is. It doesn't have that big lump. Why did that have that big lump? Because the bars were pushed up like that. Let's see here. Okay, see how smooth that is compared to that other one? I want to go
Yep.
back and just take a quick look at that to compare. Hold on here. Find that other. Okay. Right here. Okay, see them right there? Or no, you probably don't. Never mind. Okay. Right here. These bars are pushed up. Like this is pulled down and these bars are pushed up. So there's this big lump in the bottom of the horse's foot as compared to these. These fit nicely in here. That would be comfortable for the horse. Those other ones, that horse would have been uncomfortable and in pain with that big lump pushing right up here. So
that can be where you see that lump on the bottom of the sole that's higher than the rest of the sole, right up along that
oh yeah, okay.
that lump that she's talking about in the last 1/3 up by the apex up on the side. You always see this like lump of sole that looks like it's part of the bar, but it's ahead of the bar. And you're like, do I leave it? Do I take it out? Do I
Right.
file it flat? What do I do with it?
Well,
That's right.
I think that it's, well, look at the foot. The foot doesn't have a lump there, does it?
I'm thinking if we leave that lump, it's just putting pressure and bruising underneath. And if we get rid of the lump and at least get it level with the sole there, then they're not going to get a bruise under it.
Yeah, I think so too. Now I do know that there is a slight lump in the coffin bone right here. You know, but it shouldn't be like the big clumps that you get. You know what I'm talking about? And stuff in the bone itself. It's a slight bump there, but but look, it shouldn't. If you look at this foot here and on my gilding, okay, there you can really see it doesn't go clear up like that. Okay, see now do you see anything on that foot that looks like the lump you're talking about?
No, but I see the ridge, like how it's extended, like almost to the end of the frog. So I'm wondering, is that just sole filling in there?
Yeah,
Or
this here is sole. Right here.
But
see, here's your
if you-
bars right here. And the
that
horse
whole
needed
piece right there is bar. That whole piece right there is bar.
this here.
Right.
Yeah,
The whole
yeah,
thing.
that whole thing is bar. Let me turn it over.
Oh, I thought the bars ended back a little bit further.
Well, see, these bars are overgrown a little bit. So these bars end actually right here. See that crack?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so this horse just escaped getting super bad trims that really deformed its foot, but she did not have a perfectly trimmed hoof capsule when she died. You know, but she still had a really good foot. And yeah, there was some stuff overgrown and God only knows what would have happened with different farriers and whatever. But ultimately, she had a really good foot. I mean, look at the thickness of the wall and things like that. So she managed to escape the stuff that is usually done on these horses. Now her foot, here's her foot when it first came out of the capsule. See, she had no deformation or distortion in her actual foot. Now, when you take the foot out of the capsule, the back of it falls down. So what's that tell you? All this part right here, it will just droop down. Like if I set the foot on the table, that part just goes like that. So what's that tell you? That tells you how easy this whole part of the foot is to move and manipulate, deform, and distort. If it doesn't have the exact right heel buttress growth, height, and frog. And so, you know, you look at this right here, how deep that is. Now that's supposed to be full of frog that is pushing this up and supporting the digital cushion that is under here. So this would all grow up with frog clear up like this. and be supported. And then you would have your heel buttresses clear up like so. And so what happens then when it's deformed and pulled down, what's that doing? That's holding it all in place. And so that's why we have to make sure that, see that periople's right here. Remember on the whatchamacallit here, just a minute here. On this guy here, okay, the periople right here, okay, only it grows over the back of this frog here. Okay, but this periople, when the back of this foot, again, when it gets pulled down, this gets pulled down underneath. And so on this foot here, it did not have any of that. Her bulbs were not pulled under like at all. Let's turn her over here. Say, now this is drooping a little bit because the frog is gone and the capsule that supports it up and pushes it up is gone. But this foot had no, in and of itself, no distortion. Now this cut here is what I made. Otherwise this would be connected right to here. Okay, now again, let's turn this over. Okay, the periople grows here, and look, there's that little area where the periople grows from there. And then we're going to just look at this again, our model. See what I mean? Let's see here. That's what it would be like without this. This actually, the edge of the hoof capsule is very sharp. Okay, so this grows around it and over it and keeps a soft layer between the edge of the hoof capsule here and the flesh of the leg here. And so this here connects the leg to the foot, and it has all these different functions that it does, which we're not going to go into all the functions. But one of the things it does, and one of the things we're trying to do, is this stuff has grown and been pulled clear down over your frogs and is holding the back of that foot down in a distorted position. So what we're learning to do here is to renew and restore these frogs as we are trimming the capsule and getting it enlarged, so that we can try and grow these capsules back to correctly support the true shape of that internal foot. So you see, you have your work cut out for you, because we just looked at a foot that had been barefoot trimmed where the literal heels are pushed up in the foot. So you see that this is not just a simple, oh, you trim a capsule that looks halfway decent and everything's great. No, you are restoring a deformed, distorted inner foot back to, as much as possible, what it should have always been. And then once that happens, then you allow a lot of things to grow and really stabilize that you're not going to want to stabilize wholly while you're doing this, because you need this whole hoof capsule to move and change and grow and renew itself as the foot is moving. See, so you see, yeah, this is no simple process. The concept is simple. The concept of how this foot, just a minute, how this foot, the makeup and stuff. See, a little while ago, I was going to show you something on this foot. See, about the structure of this hoof capsule is a specific way and a specific way only. And that's, now it can be a little bit different angled, but, and this is something you always remember, because you have to keep this in mind as you are doing this, because you're going to have to work with these horn tubules to get them back, because something that happens is when they come in here and cut the heels out here, the horn tubules that were at this angle now are going to be at, well, that dorsal wall there would then be at that angle. And so, let's see, how would that work? The horn tubule here, wait a minute. The horn tubule that grew, oh, come on, you stupid thing.
You're
Just a second.
saying that all the horn tubules get run forward.
Yeah.
instead of in the correct alignment.
Right. And then the thing is, just a minute here. Why am I having a hard time? Draw.
It's a
There I go.
computer.
Yeah. And it's me, it's my brain. Okay. So the horn tubule here, remember, they are one distance here. Let me undo this. Now, almost your heels are almost half of the length of your dorsal wall. See there? Look here.
Almost, yeah.
See if I was to make a little rectangle here.
Ooh, more math.
See, yeah.
We're back
Really?
to pairs again.
Okay, see that little rectangle?
Yep.
Okay, and then you have this little triangle here. Now I got, hey, just a minute, clear. Let's do that again. All right, so this, the heels right here are almost half, maybe even at least half, a little more maybe, because let's say this dorsal wall was 3 inches, 3 1/4, 3 1/2. Okay, so these heels are actually half or more the length than the dorsal wall. And then,
Linda, if the heel's supposed to be 2 inches from the hairline and the dorsal wall's 3, shouldn't it be like 2/3?
Yeah,
2/3
well,
of it.
you know,
Or-
you guys, whatever that is,
2/3.
2/3, that sounds good. Around 2/3, you know, I look at more proportions a lot of times. So, and then you have this little triangular area there. See? And then all these horn tubules going back all have to be in alignment, and they have to gradually get shorter going back into here. Like, say, I'm not going to draw them all in, of course. I'm just going to give a couple examples here.
Yeah, they're supposed to stay in the same angle as
Yeah.
the wall in a correct foot.
Yeah. And so then when you trim these heels down, it takes right away, it takes this horn tubule here that was like that, and now it's at an angle like that. See? And so then eventually these horn tubules here get so they're almost non-existent, short, like about this long right there. And these ones here, they'll start pushing clear up into the toe here,
They
like
get
that.
way too long.
Yeah, and you get a piece of hoof wall that should have been this size right here. Now it's like that.
So is that where our beveling is supposed to help it
Yeah,
bevel around?
yeah, keeping the toe back, and then constantly keeping an eye on this and beveling. The thing is though, if your heels are way down here, you may bevel some of this, but there ain't much that's gonna, well, I don't think there's much gonna come back till you actually get a little bit of heel height, but you need to constantly be paying attention to this. See, now I have a picture.
I mean, I've been beveling and beveling and beveling, but nothing really changes because my heel height has not changed too much.
Yeah, because see what I thought when I first started this was, and I didn't I wasn't growing heels because I knew the heels needed grown. Oh, just a minute. Oh, just a second. I gotta have a drink of coffee or something.
Don't joke.
I just hate it when I'm talking, then I get that.
No, so the problem, it all comes back to we don't have heel. Everything comes back to we don't have heel. So
Yeah.
how do we get this damn heel is the big universal question, is what we're all
Okay.
after.
Well, I have a video I did when I started. Well, actually, I've been growing heel before that, but I have a video I did in February of 2016 where I show that. Now, what I do is I just measure them, but then if they're not that measurement, I just start growing them. And then I let them be weighted so that you let them be
Are
weighted.
you talking about the heels?
Yeah.
Okay.
You let them be weighted. Just a minute. I got a problem here. Just a minute. How come this thing is not? There we go. Okay. You need to grow the heel back here and weight this part of the wall so that the growth will be influenced to stay up here when it grows, and that will lift the back of the foot up and it'll add capsule wall into here.
So we're all trying that and we're all getting stuck.
Oh, okay. Well, part of the reason we're stuck is due to this whole frog thing, because it's binding the foot back here. See, back here.
So, I mean, that's where I'm like kind of stuck in a static stop right now. It's like he doesn't grow, but he doesn't lose.
Yeah.
I'm not trimming it. I'm not messing with it, other than if one gets a little longer than the other, trying to keep them laterally.
Okay. Well, let's
balanced.
see when we're done here. After I do a little more here, we'll go look at that. If you got some pictures, I can.
Yeah, somewhere. But I mean, just in general, pick any really no heel or very low heel and a really contracted hoof, where the hoof has just been shortened.
Yeah.
And you're really convex. I mean, how do we deal with that? And then how do you deal with the opposite where someone still has all that toe out there?
Okay. Well,
the
see,
two major things we're dealing with.
Yeah, that's stuff that we'll talk about. But for right now, I want to go back to what I'm trying to show here. Okay. And then at the end of this session, bring that up again. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to hear that too, Linda. I'd like to hear that too.
Okay. Okay, because otherwise I'll get all confused and get off track going hither and yon and stuff we need to know. Okay. So anyway, what I want you to do is pay attention to remember that we're trying to get these horn tubules back, but a lot of times we need to grow some heel before we can do it, but we can still work on that toe and trying to keep it within a boundary. Everything is boundaries, everything is mapping, everything is consistent. See, the more consistent trim you do, the better it will be. Another thing is moisture. Unfortunately, that is the catch-22. Now, what's funny is it used to be moisture was an enemy, right? Everybody had thrush and like all that. Oh, you don't want moisture, your feet will fall apart. Well, now we know why, And so anyway, so paying attention to that, the hoof structure is all I'm trying to show you here. Just a minute here. Okay. Let's see. We take all those long horn tubules out of there. So all right, so paying attention to that, paying attention to your growth rings. Okay, they're going to tell you a lot right in here. If these get raised up, you're possibly trimming high. You know what I mean? Leaving something long there. So these feet all have the same need. And when this capsule grows a certain way, it holds the foot in that position. So let me clear all drawings. All right. So anyway, we've seen the inside of this foot and what it looks like. And this capsule's here today, gone tomorrow. And so what we're doing now with this case study on the frogs is we are learning how to trim our frogs differently, how to make sure we get all that old periople and frog off. But I'm going to tell you right now, you got to be careful because you have to have some moisture so that this frog can grow back and expand, because this periople is affected by water. And so it has to have some water to expand so you can get it off of there, out of there. Otherwise, I'm sure you could still do it, but it's going to be a way slower progress. And you want to be careful about just how much you're going to take out from right here if you're not getting any moisture to the foot and frog growing back, because when you don't have anything in here, you know what happens? Can anybody tell me?
It's gonna collapse.
Your heels are going to contract.
Well, that too. It's just gonna kind of all collapse in.
Yeah, mostly this periople will just go right over that. If it's not, it's probably over that already, but it's fed up here. And so it's somewhat moist and growing and acting as a substitute frog. Okay, so if you trim it out and then the whole thing just dries out and you didn't get any moisture to that new frog corium, like new grass, you know, then it's not going to grow, and then possibly your heels are going to contract. See, that's I'll show you what it looks like on Mamie Mann's horse, because her heels are contracted and she doesn't really have any frog in there. It's just periople skin covering the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel like I should wait till the wet fall season to even attempt some of this.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I mean, it's so hot and dry here. I could soak even if I could get him to stand in the water long
Yeah.
enough every day.
Yeah.
It's almost like just learn until it gets wet again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
with
that's a
you.
good idea.
I mean, like, I can't imagine trying to like work through some of this. So, I mean, I can try to cut a little bit of it out with the knife, which I can
Mhm.
do,
Yeah.
but to do really good work, I'm like, until it freaking rains around here and we have
Yeah.
some mud.
Yep. Yep. See, I am just right there on that. And I was
It's
thinking
almost
that
like
today.
it's a seasonal thing and we got to do it while the seasons let us.
Yeah.
You can have some of our rain. We've got
I
lots.
wish.
We'll
Trust
take
me.
it to California.
There we go. Well, see, and Mamie is in South Africa. See, and so it's pretty dry there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to show you what this looks like. So hold on a second while I go grab a photo from her. Let's see. Oops.
I think a lot of us don't have severely contracted in the back anymore, but some of us still do.
Uh-huh.
Just looking at the pictures. But I mean, you know, until we get a reliable source of moisture,
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
just
see,
a puddle, a mud puddle, a rolling hole, something,
Yeah.
you know.
okay, see here.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
See, now she had problems anyway. Okay. But you see why you have to have moisture?
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes you just can't get all this the way you should. I mean, I know that look at this. This is periople going clear up into here. You know.
I call that the butt. I always think of that as the tight butt cheek squeeze.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes people think like that's from quite a while ago.
Now, whose foot is that?
That's the same horse. See, but again, took some of that out, and I do believe that I don't know if that's the same foot though. That could be, I can't tell. But anyway, you see the danger of this, right? that you could wind, it's already a contracted foot. You could have more of a contracted foot. See? If you're not like, or just say you cut some out, but you never get all of it out, you know, and you've removed part of it that was actually helping keep the heels spread apart. See? So
That makes me nervous to cut it out now.
well, yeah, but then if it's wet, you can have good luck too, like I did. See, the very opposite happened to me because I was in wet, you know, and like, yeah. See, here's the thing, people. This is all, we can know what the true foot of the horse is, right? And we can work towards trying to do that. But that doesn't mean that every decision we're going to make is going to advance us. Sometimes we do things with the right intention, but the circumstances aren't right and it just don't work out that way. You know, because it was so wet here for 2 months. See, then it kept all that periople moving and anyway, you know, you got to know that you are in an experimental situation. That's why it's called a case study.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, but I'm learning something today about like, just don't go in there while it's hot and dry and start carving away at that central.
yeah. Yeah.
You know, like maybe just keep it flat with a slight indentation and not let it get any worse.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Until
know,
it gets wet.
Well, Linda, now I feel better because I've been like upset that I can't get as deep as I thought I needed to get. So now I'm glad I couldn't.
oh yeah, I know, you know, and then you can imagine how I feel, you know,
Yeah.
and stuff, because I feel responsible for anything bad that happens.
Well, we know we're
Right.
experimental, but it's good to hear that today.
Yeah, that's
Sure.
what I mean. Like, because I thought, oh, I'm gonna just start cutting that out, but it's so
Yeah.
freaking dry out that I could have really gotten myself maybe making things worse before they got better. And I
Yeah.
really don't need to go that direction.
Yeah, exactly.
And I do,
Yeah.
I do think I have a little bit of contraction in the heels. They're not real severe, but I was trying to figure out why is that, and I'm thinking, well, okay, I only get about 15 minutes out of a foot when I'm able to soak, you know, because she's not very happy with it.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of a creek that they go in and get the fresh grass in. They stand in the creek while they eat the grass. That helps me a little bit.
Yeah.
But she has pretty good frog when all is said and done. She gets pretty plump, good frog. And this is the first year that her heels are holding up. Even
Good.
though they're
Yeah.
still short, they're not wearing down because of the flattening of the platform. That has really helped. I have control of that.
Yeah.
But since I lost some heel over the last 6 months because of the trimmer, unfortunately,
Yeah.
we're catching up on the hinds. And now I'm thinking the bars that you talked about being pushed up, that's probably something I'm dealing with in the
Yeah.
hind, is why she doesn't like to give me 1 foot for very long. Anyway,
Oh yeah,
I
I
know to
can
focus on
understand that.
Yeah.
See, when our mare that died here a few years ago, anyway, I trimmed her, you know, for years, and I trimmed her feet out of her and stuff like that. And it used to drive me crazy because I'd be working on the right foot, and every single time I'd let that foot down, she would take the left foot and put it forward and take the weight off of it, you know. And I got, so I hated that because I knew something ain't right, you know.
Yeah.
And so the first time then when I started restoring the heels and some stuff happened, and the first time I let her foot down and she didn't do that, oh, I was so happy. You know. Yeah, because you get to know these horses and you're doing these trims and you know that they're not right.
Yeah.
You know, but you are so committed that
Mhm,
this all is true and
mhm,
that you're helping your horses. Everybody has been convinced that they are helping their horses
mhm.
when they're doing the exact opposite.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
know, and as much as possible, do I want to stay away from that? And that's why I wanted to do this case study, and why for the last year I've been doing this, but I haven't really been saying a whole lot about it, you know, on the
Mhm.
groups and stuff like that, because I didn't want people to take it and misuse it and wind up screwing up and making something worse, or because I know that the basic premise here is true and right and correct. I know what the true foot is, what it's supposed to be, how to all get it there, or how to always deal with every situation with everybody's horse, with their environment, and I mean the specific condition of their foot. You know,
It's a nightmare. There's so many variables.
yeah, so many variables. And there's all these, oh gosh, like I'm helping this one gal over in Switzerland, and she kept telling me about everybody telling her about this new trim they're doing, right? Called a balanced trim. And so I'm like, why don't you ask them where they're getting this from? You know, what it is and stuff. So she comes back and she tells me, well, they call it the F balance. And I'm like, I ain't never heard of that one.
The
So
F.
yeah, the F balance.
Okay. I can't
Okay. Well, I'll tell you right now, that's a perfect letter for it.
wait.
Okay. So I just Googled it, and holy caramba. Okay. Talk about a marketing extravaganza.
Mm.
Okay. Google is full of it. The
Wow.
brand new special, never done before F balance trim. And they got it all. You know, they've got a school, and they've got certification, and they got this and they got that. And let me tell you what this trim is. Okay. This is farrier, the worst of farriery, combined with the worst of equine podiatry, combined with the worst of barefoot. And there ain't nothing new under the sun in what this guy's doing, except the fact that he forked the money out to work an online class
Right.
and get, you know, a bunch of BS going. And
As soon
then,
as you charge for some, it's correct.
yeah, or if you're on the internet
Yes,
and you have a web page,
you're right.
you can promote yourself as the expert. And I mean, this guy's doing it to the hilt, and it's the worst looking feet. Well, I'll show you this one thing and the way he makes an excuse for why your horse will not be sound, see, is rather ingenious, I thought.
So they say right off the top that the horse will not be sound?
Well, here, I'll show you what they say. Just a second here. I got under my file a bad bear.
I still like that other one where it was going to be 7 years of lameness.
Oh yeah, 7 years. Well, see, and they do part of his trim. They ramp the heels. You trim off the very base of the frog, and then you ramp the heels from the seat of the corn clear back to the base of the frog. So where
I
is
did that once years ago because someone said, "Oh, try this." Oh my God, my horse was so sore.
Oh, yep.
Oh my God. I was like, what were they thinking?
New
That was before I
share.
met you.
Okay, so here it is. That's the trim. Right there. That's what you wind up with. Right here. And I got to thinking about, see, I've been talking with this other gal, Sharon Shields Reynolds,
Yeah.
that's in our group. And we've really been studying this Periople thing. And the thing about it is, on these feet with the heels trimmed out, you'll see horrible periople all over the hoof wall.
You also have a bull nose on that one.
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I
from
saw.
and from what I heard, that is caused by a negative palmar coffin bone. And so now I know why these farriers, they got these drills with these big, huge sanding drums. Have you seen them doing that?
Yeah.
Where they're sanding all that off.
Oh, yeah,
You see?
that's very popular.
Yeah. And so he says, I think that recovering a hoof or getting a horse to walk well is
Yeah.
simple. Okay. He says, here we go. The hard part is keeping hooves and horses healthy for a long time.
Wait, so back up to that bull nose thing again. Are you saying it is from a negative palmar angle?
Yes.
So,
Which trimming the heels out and pulling the whole back of the foot down and stuff.
yeah, I've been there, done that
do
on my
that.
back feet. I keep going back and forth from minor bull nose to no bull nose to minor bull nose to no bull nose. I can't
Yeah.
get out of the cycle.
Yeah. And that's from a negative palmar angle. And I trimmed my horse into that as back feet at one point. But do you see what he's saying here? I
Yeah.
think that recovering a hoof or getting a horse to walk well is simple. Here we go. The hard part is keeping hooves and horses healthy for a long time.
I don't know where he thinks it's simple.
I don't either, but then,
I don't either.
yeah, it's
I
not
don't see
simple.
simple.
It's not simple, but here's the part that got me was where he says the hard part is keeping hooves and horses healthy for a long time.
That's
He's
Because-
making it sound like he can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, gee, maybe you ought to look at how you're trimming them. Right?
Yeah,
If you've made this hoof, see, because that's what the scenario I found myself in when I was putting that kind of a foot on a horse. Okay, they weren't sound. All right, they were ooey owie ooh on anything but soft sod. And I remember one time after I got done trimming the front feet on my horse to look like that. Okay, he leaned way back and then went to turn and he could hardly walk. See? And that was when, because see, I thought, well, this transition and this wild horse quality foot is right around the next trim. And that is what everybody thinks. See? And so you got this in your head that this is all true and right and correct, and it just don't work out that way. And so nobody's purposely whatever. First of all, when he started on this horse, it was bad. So it had already been being barefoot trimmed. Look at that.
what is that?
What is what?
That
The
dark
top
line.
picture,
Oh,
the dark separation.
it's a
It looks like dead
distorted,
lamina.
yeah, distorted, rotted, dead hoof wall.
Ugh, awful.
Now, what I do think is interesting, because you know what, I think we can learn something here too, is how he rasped that to grow it out. And
Looked like he filled it with something too.
well, I don't know, because down here,
well.
look, that's 21, 721. This is
What?
11, 21. So
Yeah.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, I looked on his site and he just does this kind of thing on these
Oh,
and they wind up growing out pretty good. See, because I still think there's stuff to learn here.
Wait, so he filed out the dead crap.
Yeah, like that. See?
So that's basically just giving that all that kind of did was just clean it up, make it look pretty so that outer hoof wall would just grow down.
Yeah.
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 Like a wounded hoof would grow down.
And I thought it grew down pretty good, obviously.
It probably
So-
would have grown down had he not done that too.
Well, probably, yeah. You know,
Didn't help the heel though.
No, it sure didn't, did it? Because they think those heels are right.
Yeah.
So but you go look at that slide. I'm gonna have to cut out a bunch of this because of what do you call it? Copyright
Yeah.
stuff. So let's get off here. New share. So it's interesting though. You should go look that site up because I mean it's like marketing. What do you call it?
Mumbo jumbo for me.
Oh, well, I mean, just the marketing behind this stuff and how people just fall for it, you
This
know?
hoof that you're showing us right here,
Mhm.
what does that look like from like the lateral and medial side? Does it look really short and
Yeah.
contracted?
Yeah,
I'm just
It-
curious.
it does. I'm trying to remember. I just seen some pictures. I don't know if that's it. That's a different, no, that's a different foot. I was showing her something from another horse on the internet. That's my horse. This is when I got through the periople layer right there with the grinder. Okay, that is not like a cut into the flesh, all right, or into the corium. That is a layer of periople. And there is a gap in here. And then the soul corium is underneath it. It's just like this other one. Well, it was this foot where I first saw those layers. See, but when you finally start trimming this out, you can see how it looks there.
Yeah, but your foot is so wide in the back now
Yeah,
because you have the moisture.
yeah, moisture. And okay, see here, that's what it finally turned into. But look at how that's being fed. See, that's just a
Right.
false frog, but it
But
fills
you're-
up this gap here, you see. And so then when I finally cut it off, you can see the frog corium through there and stuff. And then the frog grew like crazy after that.
So Linda, on the frog corium, is that something we want to not cut into though? That's getting too close. I mean,
Yeah,
that
that would be
get
too
bloody,
close.
right?
Yeah, that would be too close.
And on
Because
that first photo, I'm seeing like you were showing the false frog, it kind of, is going across your central sulcus. And then there's a hole up there, there's a
right
hole
here,
closer to the apex, which tells me it's kind of splitting off, right?
yeah,
Okay.
I didn't understand what that was at first. I was like, what is that? Because I thought, is it a gland? Like, do they have glands in their feet? Because I heard some guy say they had glands one time. But
Yeah.
then later, after all this frog came off, I realized it was just part of the frog corium right there. See?
Oh,
But it
okay.
was so the old periople was just stretching away
Yeah,
and left a hole.
yeah, yeah. But I didn't understand that at the time.
Now, was that because it was thinning and so it could stretch because you kind of kept thinning
Yeah,
that periople so it could stretch? Okay.
yeah, and just thinning it down and taking it off
But
and
that was all
finally,
during your wet season.
yeah, it was still wet here. See, this is all my horse.
So
Okay,
the
that's that
irony-
cut. See that?
Yeah.
I showed you that one where it looked like a slice right there. But
Mhm.
look, there's a gap under there.
Linda,
Yeah,
once you remove that periople all in the middle there of the central sulcus, how long did it take for your frog to grow back in so
like
that your
within,
heels didn't contract?
oh yeah, within 2 weeks. I mean, I had massive frog. I couldn't even believe it. I might have a picture of it here.
And did you keep soaking the foot, or was it just constantly wet every day for those
It was
that 2
just
weeks?
wet every day. And plus, I made a mud hole where I'm a green and an alfalfa feeder. All right, I admit it.
Okay.
God, I admit it. Ooh.
I've never been able to stop. Okay. Well, anyway, I made a place where I just feed him in a mud hole. you know, and when the,
You know,
when
I
it
just
kind of
broke-
lit up raining.
Yeah.
And then I sprayed his barn down with water. So, cause he liked to go standing there. Any place where he liked to stand, I made a puddle.
All right. I just taught my horse to stop standing in the water trough.
Well, maybe
stop.
there's a reason he was doing that.
Oh, he was, but I mean, like literally, I'm like, we finally broke him of that. Ugh,
Oh
Get him a
man,
wader
see,
pool.
how funny is that?
I know, we worked so hard to get him out of the damn water trough so that the
Oh,
other
wow.
horses could actually get into it.
Oh wow, that's really interesting. And he was
His front
standing
feet
in
might
it.
have at least been workable, but not the backs, but at least the fronts would have been wet.
Yeah, no kidding. That's funny.
It isn't it? It just, I'm just sitting here thinking, oh my God, I just broke him of that.
Maybe he needs a little kid's wading pool.
Yeah,
I thought about that, but you know how slippery that would be? Unless you put something in it.
put a piece of carpet in the bottom or something.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I have visions of him looking at that like, you know, some dragon's gonna come out of it.
Yeah. Oh God. Well, I'll show you how much frog grew. Let me find the pictures. Hold on here. Pictures. It was massive, and I'd never seen frog like that. Okay, ever. So I'll show you what it looked like here. Elemental PQRs TUV for Valor. Just a second here.
So I wonder if there's any way to replace water with like an oil or something that could at least soften it up a little bit instead of water for now.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. This is all stuff we're gonna have to learn and
I was thinking
experiment.
about that. Is there something we could use to substitute and just keep putting it on every day?
Well,
Linda,
yeah.
so this is Simone speaking from Germany.
Oh,
with,
hi.
Hi.
Hi. I'm so
Hi.
glad you got here.
Yeah, we were very happy to be here.
Yeah.
So, may I can give you some tips because of the moisture. I keep
Okay.
my horse very moisturing with panthenol. I don't know the English word for panthenol cream. And some and I put a diaper around it and some bandages
Uh-huh.
and kids Strumpfhose,
Tights.
sock,
Tights.
tights, and
Kids'
kids tights.
Yeah. Wool tight.
And wool tight, yeah. So it keeps in my barn very wet then because I can keep some water in it.
Okay.
But you can't turn them out with stuff like that on, right?
No.
Yeah, we
Well,
do. Yeah, sure. Yes, we do.
I do because he's outside all the time. He's on the
Paddock trail.
yeah. I'm on a paddock. He's on the paddock trail all the day, 24/7.
You can
Okay,
see-
so
oh,
but I'm misunderstanding. So it's a diaper, but you have something over that.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I do a lot of things.
It sounds great. But what do you put over it so it doesn't wear
So
through it?
I do a little band. I do the cream on it.
Uh-huh.
And a little bandage around it to keep the cream there. And then I put a diaper, a swimming diaper. It's important to be a swimming diaper because they don't blow it up. They just keep the water.
A swimming
A
diaper.
swimming diaper, yeah. that's
Germany's
important.
different. You got to remember
Yeah,
that.
Germany is totally different.
all this learning
Yeah.
pants with
You're
a little-
learning pants to be dry, to keep learning the kids dry.
But it
Okay.
isn't slippery when they're out walking. It's not slippery.
No, because you wrap it with the tape and you
Yeah.
put the tights over
Yeah,
it.
okay. So and
Oh,
then
okay.
I put the diaper on it, and then I put another bandage on it and make sure that
Conway.
the Conway band is not keep it into it and
Covered, no?
it's not covered. And then I put a tear.
The tights. What?
Tear,
Tear?
this tear
Tear.
tape.
Oh, a tape.
A tape, a special tape on
fix
it
all it.
to fix all together, but just underneath the hoof.
Uh-huh.
And then I put another tape, a gaffer
Oh
tape.
my God.
Yeah, and then I put
Dedicated.
no, I'm not kidding. I send you pictures.
Yes, I
promise.
was gonna say, will
Really?
you send us pictures?
I
Are
send
you
you pictures,
using
or
like
maybe
duct tape, the gray tape?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
duct tape, yes,
Duct tape.
at least. And overall that, I put a the tide, yeah,
The wool
and
tide, yeah.
and
Children's wool
yeah,
tide,
a wool tide on top of it, and fix it very soft together, so everything stays for
3 days. no?
3 days around. Maybe I have
That's
to
pretty
change-
good.
Yeah, maybe I have to change the tide because it had a lot of because I have some
Holes.
stones and something like that, and a lot of mud. And sometimes they get a lot of holes, and then I had just to keep the just to change the tide, and that works very well because all the other shoes that they sell you in this very big shoe factory system, they are not working.
Uh-huh.
So
And
Oh, they come
they
off.
break or rip.
yeah, they
apart,
break, they
whatever.
rip something apart, and you spend a lot of money, and you can do it with your own stuff and keep it very close to the anatomical right position
It
from your
sounds
hoof.
like an abscess kind of treatment, like when we have an abscess, how we wrap it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
similar to that, but it's not so heavy soaked with water, but it keeps moisture.
And so have you been noticing like changes because you've been able to keep moisture to the hoof and
Yeah, because I can trim out the old periople that grown underneath the hoof. I
Mhm.
can trim that better out. I do little scratches in it before I put the moisture on it,
Uh-huh.
and then I wait for 3 days, and then I can trim out another layer of that, because Dodo has you show pictures from Dodo in the first meeting.
Mhm.
Dodo had a lot of
That's the one where the heel exploded,
the
you
one-
know?
yeah, with the
Oh,
blood and something
wow.
like, you know.
Yeah.
So I tried, I do my weight like this, and I figured it out. It was very good for us because my horses are outside 24/7.
Yeah, it would be hard to try and do the soaking and all that stuff when it's like that. So this is great.
Yeah, and we have, in the moment, we have some periods, they are totally dry. And the last few days it rains, but the hoof is still drying in
Yeah,
that
too dry.
moment, where just in time when I just open the bandages, it
Mhm.
starts to drying and makes very
It's harder everything.
harder everything. Yeah,
You have to take off.
Mhm.
yeah. To
So
take
you have to work really fast. If you
Yeah.
take it off, then you have to start trimming right away.
and I
Yeah.
do the trim micromanagement in the moment, and but every 3 days. Yeah, every 3 days I do a little bit of trimming
Uh-huh.
to let the bulbs grow in, the heels grow in, and something like that.
See,
Maybe you
that's
remember that
that's
the horse
great.
where the heel bulb kind of pushed out, came out in 2 months, and then we had this abscess, and the whole hoof capsule is not fitting anymore. So we talked about that. It's Dodo. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. If you-
Yeah.
So that's why we need to keep him wet. Otherwise, if everything would get
Dry.
dry and small again, he would walk out of his hoof capsule.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. He would
Okay.
out- So that's the reason why I do this
Yeah.
doctor
Well,
studies.
what a
to-
great
to make
what a
changes.
great experiment.
Yeah.
See, because
Wait,
you
where did
just
the
joined.
abscess
Did
blow
you
out?
just get? Were you on here when we were talking about how all this is experimental?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. We
Yeah.
were with
Yeah.
my account. It's Sabine speaking. So we
Yeah.
were with my account, but my laptop dropped out with the
Yeah.
power. So we just
Okay.
opened the other one. It's now Simone on. Yeah.
Okay. And stuff. Sometimes I have a hard time keeping people and horses.
No,
That's all
that's
good.
fine. That's fine.
You know what I
You
mean?
know, you have a
Yeah.
lot of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
a
had
lot
a
of
lot of
people.
stuff, a lot of
And
horses.
stuff. See, I just think that's really great. And so have you been taking pictures?
Of course we do.
Yes,
Awesome.
but the question is, Linda, as you're asking, I'm not sure how to upload. Should we upload them in the Facebook group or on the Google account? I haven't seen any clear.
Yeah, I know.
Like-
I'm not good on the whole paperwork secretary business into this,
Just let me know where to
you know,
upload.
which
I
is
mean,
not a business, but you know, the
yeah.
whatever. You could, anybody got any ideas what we should do
We've been,
there?
well, it looks like most people have just been putting the pictures right into this group. The
I've
Periople
been putting mine
Facebook
into the,
page.
I've been putting mine into the Frog and Periople group on Facebook because I don't know how to put them into Google.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've been
if you
putting
put
them
'em in-
there too.
I don't know how to access them if anybody else's, if they were in the Google, but on the Facebook page, it's easy.
Yeah,
Okay,
on
well,
Facebook
do
page.
we create an album in the Facebook
yeah,
group? Or
that
are
I
we-
think you
we?
can.
Yes, we can. Okay.
Okay.
I haven't found
Can
it.
we?
No,
Yeah,
I didn't found it. So
Yeah, we
Yes, you
can.
can create an album under the media tab.
Oh,
media
yeah.
tab.
I
Okay.
see.
Okay.
And name your album and then add
Yeah,
pictures.
sure. Yeah, okay, good. We'll do that. I
And
mean,
then-
Simone and me, we work together, so we have then one horse and
Okay. And then go through your photos and put no commenting on them.
Okay.
Because otherwise sometimes people just will comment on photos and then you got all these photos popping up that you don't really need to do it. You can comment if you want on the post itself, you know, but that way you can't comment on every single photo and it's putting photos, you know,
Mhm.
it makes them into a separate post
yeah.
and stuff.
Okay. Can I just add, as we were
Yes,
talking
yeah,
about
please share.
earlier on, there was the question about how to grow the heel, and we had a quite good experience now with Dodo because his heel was also, I mean, it was not short, but he was flat running on the heel bulbs, and the heel was really long. I mean, it was from the he was walking with the heel bulbs on the ground, but the
Mhm.
heels ended all the way. The heels ended all the way up at the quarters.
Mhm.
And so we needed to create somehow the height. And what we recognize now that the more we trim every 3 days, a little bit, it seems like the faster he's growing.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we do touch a little bit the heel, but only the surface. And it's not trimming the heels down, but just really a millimeter. So not touching might be not the solution. So, but
Okay.
maybe just go over it a millimeter, and he's growing, heels.
Heels.
Okay.
Here, yeah, really, and
Well-
nicely. And even the abscess, it grew out from the coronary band within 2 months. It was all the way down to the sole, and it's out now.
Wow, that's great.
Today we
Yeah.
can trim it out.
So after 2 months, which normally takes what, 12 months?
Yeah. Well, see, now this is kind of what's happened on my horse too. When I put those boots on him and it compressed into the coronary at the dorsal wall.
Yes.
Mhm.
And that was like at the end of February. And now that's almost totally grown out. But see, now I went to why this is working, because I believe what you're saying. And I think we need to practice that if we want the hoof to grow fast. And that is that when I went to this, they round up the wild horses and then they have a thing where they adopt them. And so you go to these adoptions and they got all these horses there. And so I talked to this guy that worked for the government. And he said, because these horses travel every day, you know, so they're naturally wearing their feet, just little at a time. He said when they first bring the horses in, their feet grow like crazy because, now they brought them in and they're not moving around. They're not wearing their feet down. And so they noticed this, how fast their feet grow. And so they wait about 6 months. And he said after about 6 months, the growth slows down. And then they have people come in with hydraulic chutes that they run them in and flip them over and trim their feet. See, so yeah, I think that's true. And I think, yeah, we do need to practice that.
flipping them over?
No. Well, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Good one, good one.
Sure be easier. roll
should
over.
try it.
No, but trimming a little the heel,
Yeah.
just touching the heel a little, a micrometer
Yeah, as if he
every
was
few
wearing
days.
it. Yeah.
Every few days. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to do that. I'm going to start doing that. And I've got a couple other people I know are having some problems with heels. We'll just start doing that. And then because
So
can I
what, just
show
get down
you?
to new, just get down to new looking, whatever, get the dirt outer top
Yeah.
layer off?
Yeah. Like every 3 days, just hit it like as if your horse had, run out in the desert for a couple days
Just the heel.
in the sand. Well, you can do it to, like,
Whatever,
okay,
what you're working on and what
like
the problem is.
if you come out and you see this area high, you can knock that down.
Well, I do.
You know what I mean? But
So,
a
okay,
lot of,
so you're saying the frog is growing faster once you trim it.
Mhm.
Could the same thing be happening to hoof wall for the same reason?
Yeah, I believe so. And these gals just confirmed what I've been thinking for a long time and have experienced here recently in trimming the frog, because I kept trimming it just like what they're saying. Okay. Like, not as much, not every 3 days, but once a week, once every 2 weeks, I was doing it. But I also had this deal where, you know what, I need to go out there and I just need to knock everything down a little bit, because these are tubules, right? Everything's
Right.
a tubule. And I thought, I wonder if it works like a fiber optic. Like
Huh?
when it's hit, like it sends a message, grow, you know?
Well, don't they always say if you tap your fingernails and do all sorts of stuff, the concussion and makes the blood flow better? I wonder if it's got something to do with blood flow.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Through
Yeah,
the, through the
that-
lamina.
Yeah. It's sending, I'm sure that the foot sends a message to grow fast or grow slow, So yeah, that's great. I'm going to start that. Well, I was wanting to do something similar to that anyway. I think it's interesting that you put these hoof diapers on. I think that's awesome. And keep the feet moist, and then they last for 3 days. And what's neat is when you take them off, probably the stuff you see, you're probably going, wow, look at that.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Linda.
Hi.
I'm Angeliki speaking.
Hi, how are you?
I've sent you 2 photos. One
Okay.
is of June 13,
Okay.
when I trimmed the frog and Periople. And the next is June 27th.
Okay. So here's
Question, is it wet there?
I have not too much water to soak my hoofs because we are in a dry season, but you can see how much how big the differences are.
Well, even
These
just
2
looking at this
photos.
first one, since you
Yeah.
started, there's such a difference already too.
And sorry, because I'm not a good photographer with my my telephone.
Oh, it looks good. It looks good.
But you can notice some changes.
Mhm. Yeah, the
Wait,
whole
so
foot.
she did it without water, really?
Yeah.
Wait, did they contract it all? Go back. Can you
I
see
don't
if
know.
it contracted
What do
at
you
all?
think? Do you think that contracted at all?
I don't know. Because
You
that's
know?
our fear.
That's our fear. Yeah. That they're going to contract if we don't have any moisture and if we take off, too much, especially
In there.
in here. Now,
Mhm.
is there a wet season there?
Yes, in the winter time.
Okay. And when is the winter there?
From October to May, we have rains. Not
Okay.
very frequently and not very heavy, but we have rains.
Okay.
Now, the only water I could put my hoofs in is the seawater. I'm near the beach. But when I put the hoofs in to the salty water,
That
they
dries it
don't
out.
get, well, they get wet, but they don't get really the way with sweet with natural water do.
Salt is drying.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hang out.
Yeah.
Don't put it in salt water.
Yeah.
That has to do with the chemical balance and stuff. If you've got plain water and you've got salty water, the plain water is going to go into the salty water to make it equal. So
Huh.
if you've got a foot that has blood and salt and everything in it, and you put it in plain water, it's going to soak up the water to dilute it. But if you put the same foot into salt water, it's pretty much the same. It's not going to do anything.
Huh.
Yes, this is what I found out, because when I put her half an hour into the beach, into the sea, nothing changes.
Hmm.
The
That's
way
interesting.
the hoof looks.
Yeah, because the seawater and the body water concentration is probably pretty close to the same, so not much is going to change.
Yeah.
So how much did she take out of the periople? Go back to the one where she took it out. How much did you take out when you did this? A lot?
Well, the more I could. I thought I could.
See,
I'm
big
looking-
guys, when did you get here? To the group, to this discussion, because I haven't looked to see. When did you get here?
About 10
Mi-
10 to
minutes?
10.
10 minutes ago?
No, I'm 20 minutes now in.
Oh, okay. Then were you here in the discussion when we were talking about being careful of what we're gonna take out of here when we don't have too much moisture so that the feet don't contract?
No, I didn't listen to it, but I hope you are recording that, so
Yeah.
I'll look at it.
I
Yes.
did, and
Don't waste your time to explain now to me a second time. I will have the whole thing looked when you post it in the
Okay.
YouTube.
okay,
Thank you very much. Anyway.
okay. Well, I was just going to, anyway.
Has
So-
anyone ever measured the distance from heel buttress point to heel buttress point to keep track on whether we're
Yeah,
contracting or not?
that'd be a good idea.
I'm just curious because the only way I know if these things are contracting is to measure it.
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe you could do that on Benitra.
Well, I'll be out of my homeland until the end of August. So
Okay.
guys, now I can't do anything.
Okay,
I just
And-
have these last photos and that's it. I don't even know how she's now.
okay. Well, then this will be interesting to see too, because there might be a difference, like if you're able to keep the feet moist and then
Yeah.
do something every 3 days or whatever. And when you can't keep the feet moist and you just can't do that as often, where we will find that out. If you can still affect a change, because these feet have changed since she did start
Yes,
doing this.
A lot. A
Yeah.
lot. From the
It-
first time I drilled the frog and periople, they
Mhm.
expanded and they look different.
Yeah. Yeah,
And so
because
she didn't have a serious contraction occur.
no.
Well, she had, I must tell you, she was totally contracted.
Huh. Well, look here. See there?
Yeah.
Let's see here. I'm looking. Okay, so then let's go back to here. And so anyway, it looks like there's some change going there.
See, when I will return home, I
mhm.
can have more photos to see the change in 1 month because it's something like 40 days I'm out now.
Yeah, well, that'll be great. Be
Yeah.
looking forward to that.
Me too, guys.
You know,
Me too.
I bet you want to get home.
The only thing I know is that her steps are very steady, which she never was.
Oh, really?
And
Okay.
they tell me that she's walking fine and she's prancing all over.
Well, good.
Well,
Well,
that's the best point.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, we're gonna find out. Just like I know, well, right now, since I uncovered Valor's heels. Now, you see, here's the thing we got to understand too, that when the hoof capsule is reduced, then let me go to another picture here.
I wonder if we could do a thing on the same horse, same conditions, and trim one out a little bit more and leave the other one alone and watch what happens.
Yeah, well, see, when we could get to a place where we can do that, you know, or if somebody has two horses, you know, they could.
No, you got to do it on the same horse.
Oh, do it on the same horse?
If you add two horses into the picture, you've got another variable.
You mean like do 1 foot?
Yeah, trim one out more, the frog and the periople on the back. If the feet are, like both of my back feet are pretty well, you know, they're not too contracted, but they're very short. Like if I were to play with 1 foot and not mess with the other one as much and see what happens.
Well, I do know that a year and a half or so ago, whenever it was, I did that 1 foot because I only had one boot to keep the foot moist. That foot is more advanced. It's his left front is more advanced than his right front when I started doing both of them like 6-8 months later.
But she was doing it without soaking.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, like a mini experiment without soaking, and if you did 1 foot and didn't do the other one, if that 1 foot that we trimmed out would contract up all of a sudden pretty quickly and the other one just stayed fine.
Yeah, you know what we need? We need a government grant.
Oh my God.
We need a government grant and a lab.
Not the government, not the government.
No. But I'm just wondering, like, you know, if I don't know, I'll have to see where his feet are when I get him back home again and see if I can do something. His feet are so dry right now, but if I could wet one enough and play with it and leave the other one be.
But couldn't we get the periople with the Dremel? Even
Yeah.
if it is dry?
Yeah.
My
He's
feet,
not
our
going
feet
for
are
that
really
yet.
dry.
Yeah.
No.
I did that.
And
Yeah.
does it work?
Well, it worked. Yes.
Okay.
Perhaps not that much as if it were soaked, but I did in dry hooves. And the hoof changed really changed in time of 2-3 weeks.
Okay.
Okay.
I was thinking about cutting a little groove in with the knife and then taking maybe a wood file, something not too severe, and just start cleaning it up with that into the groove.
Yeah. Yeah,
Since
that's a
my
good
boy
idea.
is not fond of the power equipment yet.
The wood file is not working.
I just
No?
bought some
But-
small
No,
wood-
it's not
wood
working. I
files
tried it
yesterday.
out. It's
It
not
doesn't
working.
I
work.
tell you,
No, it
I
doesn't work.
used every tool possible
It doesn't work on the
imaginable.
periople skin.
Ah,
What happens? It just kind of like nothing.
It's do like nothing. I have to
Periople.
do, yeah,
I
the
find-
periople is so strong, it's so hard, except to the real frog. So
You
you can
can't
feel
sand
the
that-
difference. You can feel the difference when you cut it with the knife. You feel the difference, how the knife is going through. And I tried it with the wood rasp, and the better way was with the normal hoof rasp.
okay.
Yeah.
Just on the edge. You know how
And
they have
I've
those little
tried-
serrated edge?
No,
I've
it's
tried
on the
standing.
flat side too. On the flat side too.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I tried to do little notches into the periople to cut it through, and don't cut it too deep because I don't know where's the real frog. So I'm very careful with it, and I do very little tiny notches into it.
Scratches, huh?
Scratches. So, I'm sorry, scratches with the knife. And then I let it more in moisture diaper, whatever my bandage is how named. And on the next time, I can cut it off with the knife.
Okay,
Mhm.
that's great to know.
Mhm.
So you just scratch it up with the rasp and
I
then you let
scratch
it
it with the
soak.
rasp. Yeah, I
No, the
scratch it
knife.
with the rasp and with the knife. It depends on which
Oh,
part
okay.
it is. And then I soak it. I let it
then-
soak with the moisture cream.
Mhm.
And after 3 days or 2 days, it depends. My timetable is running through.
Mhm.
So after that, I can trim it out a little bit better. Instead of you have not those little scratches into it because it flaps a little out. It gives little gaps. And what I also try was I have a little gap into it and I put, I don't know the English word for it, Wasserstoffperoxid.
Well, that's difficult to explain.
Yeah, it's Wasserstoffperoxid. You use Wasserstoffperoxid to blonde your hair, but there's
Oh, peroxide?
Peroxide.
Peroxide.
peroxide. Yeah, there's
Okay.
a percent, I guess 12 or 3, no 3, where you can
3% hydrogen peroxide.
yeah, where you can keep wounds and old old skin very clean.
Uh-huh.
If you have a
Yeah.
It just foams away dead stuff.
yeah.
Yes.
And I tried this also. This doesn't work.
Okay.
No, it would have to be stronger than 3%, trust me.
I don't try it with stronger than 3% because
Right.
I do a lot to or I'm also very quick with the release from my horse, so I have to be very careful right now. So I
Yeah,
do
3%
micromanage
hydrogen
it.
peroxide is pretty weak. I mean, it's good for like pus and like, dead cells, but it won't go after anything hard like periople.
Yeah, but I tried to
Moist.
remove it from the real frog.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's my experiment after that.
Well,
But it
that's
doesn't
pretty
work.
neat. So so then you're learning the difference on that frog between the periople that's grown on it
Mhm.
and the frog and the,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, that's
After
cool.
the first meeting, I saw the hooves totally different,
Mhm.
and I just
You feel the difference.
yeah,
right?
I
It's
feel
like
the
butter going.
I feel the difference when I hold the knife and go through the frog. And I remember the first time when I go to the farrier in my very youngest age. I remember the smell of the real frog.
Mhm.
And after I cut through the real frog at my horse, I smell it again and I remember how it should smell. So
Huh.
this was a kind of eye opener for me. Okay, this is not real frog. This is all periople and it's totally
I am
strong.
not going to go and suck my nose to my horse's frog. Sorry.
No, you
but
don't
it
have to.
smells- No,
you don't have to do it. It smells.
It comes
You
up.
can
It comes
smell
up.
it just, yeah.
When you trim, you are far away. I mean, you are close enough to smell it.
Yeah, you smell it.
And
Yeah.
and the frog, it feels like going through butter, and the periople skin on top, it's like it's
You told us
No,
it's like you can
harder.
not
right.
chew.
It's like it's
Yeah.
tendon.
You cannot chew it when you have a steak and that
Yeah.
has you gave us
Bristle.
this you
It's
gave
just
us
really
this
hard.
example.
Yeah.
It's really hard and it's totally strength.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I know
resistant.
exactly what you mean.
It's
You know.
totally resistant and I thought, okay, my knives are not sharp. Okay, what do I what do I have
Yeah.
to change with my knives?
Yes, we talked about that for hours.
I'm totally freaked out with my knives. I bought around 5 knives, and then I find out, okay, it's periople.
Yeah, that's why they don't
That's
cut.
fascinating.
Yeah.
That they don't cut through periople.
They are all working now.
and and right now they're totally working and go through the frog like butter.
Wow.
I'm so curious.
So,
about that.
excuse me, are you saying that we have three kind of materials? One very hard is the wool. The
No, that's
second,
periople.
less
Periople
hard
is the
is
hardest.
periople. And the third, less, still less strong is frog.
Yeah. Yep.
Mhm, mhm.
Well,
But
there is a degree on the strength of the parts of the hoof,
Yeah.
from what I'm hearing now.
Yeah. And that periople, well, it does the strangest things. Like it can dry on the heels and look like hoof wall,
mhm,
but it's
Yeah.
periople.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it does amazing things, especially when the foot is compromised. It can get super thick all over the hoof. I've
Mhm.
And it
seen it
makes sense.
get
Yeah,
that
it makes
way.
sense for rescue
Um,
the horse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
If
exactly.
the frog is not there, it's inside the hoof, then the periople comes in and protects the hoof from underneath.
Yeah.
For I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
So,
That's so
do
what
you
you gals
remember
are doing together is awesome.
You have to
Thank you.
Yeah,
really
thank
have a
you.
really sharp knife. I mean,
do
like
you remember
really
these
sharpen
small
them each time.
curtains on the hills we used to cut away?
Uh-huh.
The small parts of Periople at the some 6 months ago, when Reza showed us how to clean the heels.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yep,
That was
yep.
pure Periople.
Yeah.
It was not frog material.
No, it was all
No.
periople.
Yeah, it
It
was
was
periople.
Periople.
We just
Yeah.
didn't realize that it was growing clear into the frog sulcus here. You
Yeah.
know?
I mean, if you have enough hand strength and your knives are sharp enough, the key phrase is learning how to sharpen your knives so they're really deadly sharp.
Well, but still,
No,
even
no.
really sharp, it's going
I'm
to
very strong, and I'm
And the knives were sharp. They were
my
new.
knives were sharp because they're pretty new.
But the good
Uh,
thing is, when you know there's resistance, you know it's periople and it's not frog.
yeah, see, that's great. And see,
That's the
that's
way
why I
we have to-
use a Dremel and power tools, because
Mhm.
I could not cut it.
yeah, you
Yeah.
have to be very careful and very strong and very controlled in your
Movements, mhm.
how do you go on
And
with the
your
knife?
tools.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
you,
so on your, wait, okay, let's go back to knives just for a second. On your knives, when you got them, did they only have a sharp side on one
Yeah.
side of the blade?
Yeah.
I have one side the blade, two side the blade, long blade, round blade.
Because
I
when
I
I
have
buy
everything.
knives, they only come with one side of the blade sharpened. And the back side, they don't touch.
yeah, they're not supposed to.
I know, but I started sharpening the backside and doing a lot better.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
But-
also you can have both both. You can have
Okay.
the outside sharp and you can have the inside sharp. The outside sharp makes, for my opinion, makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
okay.
mean, I think about my dad being a butcher and how he sharpened his knives.
Yeah.
They never did just one side, ever.
Okay.
Ever.
My
They
dad is a
always
chef,
had both sides razor sharp.
so my dad is a chef and I saw both sides. So
See?
I learned
So I'm
both
thinking
sides
like you're
and one
cutting through
side.
all of that heavy duty beef and all that stuff. That is not easy cutting either.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they use two sides of the blade is sharpened.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
Exactly.
started doing both sides of mine. And it
Huh,
has
I'll have
made
to
it
try
easier.
that. Okay. So
Anyway, I am old. I'm not very strong. I'm quite small. And I prefer the sanding paper on a Dremel.
yeah, me too.
I would too, except my horse won't tolerate it yet.
And I'm a bad knife sharpener as well.
I'm
Yeah.
getting better at that. I've looked a lot of things up on how to do it and I've experimented quite a bit on some knives.
You know, but there's also some parts I just can't get at unless I use a knife, because that frog, you know, the frog gets pushed up in the foot, and so you can have old dead frog that's buried in these creases here,
Right.
you know, and so some of that I just have to get in there with the knife and pry it up.
Yeah.
So,
But no, I
Uh,
started sharpening both sides of my knives and then I tested on paper before and to see how good I am.
mhm.
like they used to show you with the chef's knives, they take paper and
Yeah, yeah.
I
well,
started
that's
seeing
good.
I started seeing how sharp I was actually and changing the angle blades, the blades of the sharpening to see how I could get these knives to be like really, really sharp.
Mhm.
Of
Well,
course, I
that's
cut
great.
myself a lot in the beginning, but what, whatever.
I
Janet?
think we need the Japanese spades to do these things.
Yeah, Ginsu. Ginsu
Janet?
knives.
Janet, can you hear
What?
me?
Yeah,
Maybe you could make a small little video of how you're sharpening.
yeah, well,
Yeah,
I'm
that'd
still
be great.
perfecting it. I'm still perfecting it, but when I go to cut through some of this dead Periople frog, black leathery stuff, I can get through it with the double-sided versus not with the single.
Okay.
Okay.
I found out that I at least have like the ability to start cutting, whereas when I had the single knife where the backside was touching the frog and it wasn't sharp, I was just sliding across it and not getting any blade underneath to start a cut.
Okay. All right. So let's move on.
All right.
Okay. So before we got into this other discussion, which I'm glad we did because I really, really liked hearing what you gals are doing over there in Germany. You're in Germany, right?
Yep, we're in
Sabina?
Germany. Yeah,
Okay.
we're in Germany.
Okay,
Sabine,
yeah.
normally in Hungary.
Yeah, I'm normally in Hungary, but right now I'm here in Germany.
Okay.
So she's
Well-
my farm sitting girl for the next 2 weeks.
See that what you're doing, the experiment you're doing, the work you're doing together, what you're seeing on the Periople, that's all just really fascinating. And I really look forward to hearing more of what you guys find out and how you're gonna help restore that horse's foot, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, we're still
So-
online.
So that's
Yeah.
awesome. So okay, before we got into those conversations and stuff where you were asking me about when I trimmed his foot, and remember it was like that,
Right.
okay, and then I got all the stuff off of it. Let me see if find a picture of that right here. Okay. Then let's see, when was that? I got dates on stuff. Well, I should have had dates on stuff. Okay, that was 4/16/22. Okay. So 4/16/22 to 5/6. So about 2 weeks. This here grew into that there. See that Matt, I mean, that was just frog I had. See, frogs always look like kind of like that before. And now this stuff started growing. See there? So that's I mean, I've never had frog quite like that before. It's
Are you
always
talking
been
about the color or the texture or
color,
both?
texture, everything, especially the texture and thickness. The thickness, because look here. Well, look at the amount of frog here that grew. So you can tell right here the thickness of it right there. If we go back here, okay, you see I'm clear down to here.
Right.
Okay, and this was also all new heel buttress right here. So see that? That's what grew in 2 weeks.
Now, did you leave that or did you take some out or what did you do with it?
No, I think I just did it again. I just trimmed it out again. See?
Because you didn't want it connecting over to the heel buttress or that creates immobility too.
Yeah. So I went ahead and trimmed it down, I think, right here to this. Okay. So it was like this here. What do I got here? Okay, yeah. So this is
You got them in,
before
yeah, there we go.
and after, and that's what I trimmed it back to again. Because I was wanting, okay, here's the thing too. This whole frog aquarium is pushed forward and these bulbs are pulled in like this. So I don't want this establishing itself because we want all this to come out and all this whole frog to be pulled back where it's supposed to be. And what that's going to do is that's going to fill up the back of this foot to where you're really not even going to have too much of this bulby looking stuff here. Okay. You're going to have it more flat back here. Or I don't know, flat is the word, full, to where it's not so much like this as it's just totally full. You've got this pulled back, that pulled back, and the frog and these lumps here pulled clear back behind here. And what it does is then it shoves up and it supports the digital cushion that's up here, and it pushes it way up, and it makes the whole back of the foot just look full because it's supporting that foot the way it's supposed to be. And so now my heels here are hollow because the heels have been pushed up in the foot. And so I know that when everything comes back and this is pushed up, this is going to push my heels back down and the sole will be closer in here. And so this was 5. So now this just happened. In this last trim I saw, well, it's slowly been doing it anyway. And see, here's the thing is that my heels are, see how they're curled in?
Yeah.
Okay, everything curled in there. This is all starting to uncurl like this. And so your foot's in here, but your heel is sitting on top of your sole corium. It's not really where it's supposed to be. And so as these uncurl and move back, it's going to uncover that part of the bottom of the foot on the true heel of the internal foot, so that you can grow sole in here. Again, a lot of times it's going to be hollowish or concave in here when it's supposed to be full. Okay. So that's anyway. And this indentation here, okay, that's not going to be there hardly at all. This is all going to be back here and totally full. And so for a long time, I've been looking at x-rays, and I don't know if I shared this. I might have. I've been looking at x-rays of the back of the foot, trying to read them and understand them. And let me show you something here. What you're going to see, well, let's see. It always goes back to examples of wild feet. Let me find some x-rays to show you. Just a second here. Okay. So I know that this was anatomically, because the mare was 3. Now she might have worn her heels out by the time she got older because the environment she lived in. But I would look at these x-rays of her and look at the back of this foot. See, and I just could not wrap my head around why it looked like that, because I have never, I mean, some domestic horses that have their heels trimmed out and the cartilage here is pulled way up here, it'll look similar to that. Okay, but there's something that you see a lot of, and there is a square. You'll see a bulb, but then you see this square shadow that goes like that, and I could never figure out what that is. Well, as I've been watching my horse's feet fill in back here, and I got x-rays of him, I realized that what I was seeing in that square shadow was how the digital cushion is sucked into the foot. in this way because the bulbs are wrapped in to the middle of the foot. And so as these cartilages come out, you're going to see the whole back of this foot in a whole different light, even in x-rays. So, you know, again, that's what we're looking to do, is we're pulling all that anatomy back out this way and behind the foot where it's supposed to be. See, so it's not just a matter of removing the periople and getting frog growing and stuff like that. It's a matter of restoring the whole back of that inner foot to where it's supposed to be, and then growing that frog, because then that's going to hold the back of that foot where it is supposed to be. And that's what we're doing. That's how we're restoring these feet, not just, you know, getting rid of the periople and growing frog. See, and so that is why I took the foot down that much. Well, here, as a reminder, let's look at this foot, this one foot again here. Just a second. Let me find it. If I can find it. Where are you? Hold on. Always have a hard time finding this stupid thing. Ah. Well, I don't know where the picture went. Just a minute here. Oh, there it is. Okay, here's that picture again. See the frog? See how if you were to come around here, you're not going to hardly see any.
We don't see the frog, Linda.
Okay, sorry. Okay, right here. See the frog?
Yep.
Okay, that's
Yep.
what we're doing. We're pulling this whole thing back. See, it got pushed forward and distorted here. Heels got pushed up. Okay, so as this is all coming back and as the frog is growing and pushing the back of the foot up here, it's going to push the internal heel down here. So that's the ultimate goal, to restore this to our domestic horse, like this horse had it. Now, you're not ever, hardly ever even going to catch a horse having this, you know? Okay, here. See the square? See that shadow?
Kind of.
Okay, now can you see the
Mhm.
square? See, this is the cartilages. Okay, this here, I always wondered what that was. Like, what is that? You know, because see, you don't see that on this horse here. Right here. See, you can't see there, you don't see a square looking funky thing. But I see this on a lot of horses. That's because that is the center of the foot between the bulbs. Okay, here's the cartilage up here. Okay, now on this horse here, and I think this was an adopted wild horse. Okay, annotate just a second here. Okay, so this would be between the bulbs. See, it's square. See that? This is cartilage right here. You can see the two of them here. There's one here. And you can see the other one here. So one's on one side, one's on the other. See? This is right in between the bulbs, right here.
So that's that cleft, that tight groove.
Yeah.
If you were looking at from the rear.
Yeah, like
when it's contracted.
Yeah, you know how when you're looking at the bulbs and they're pulled in like this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's right in the center here.
Well, that's why it's darker, because you're going through two, it's a dense area.
Yeah.
That's why it's darker.
Yeah, and so this is also digital cushion, because what happens is the digital cushion the frog gets stripped out, and the digital cushion that should only be up here, like so, gets pulled down clear to here. And so when all is said and done, like, okay, over here on this foot, that's collateral cartilage. But the way the collateral cartilage should be is like this. See? And the way this here should be all the way over here like this too. See, so that would be like, just like here.
Right.
So that square part on the x-rays isn't necessarily a good thing there.
No, it's not good at all. It's showing that the bulbs are pulled in, like what we're dealing with, like right here, looking down, you know,
Okay,
like this. That is what it's showing.
okay.
And stuff. But it wasn't until I had x-rays done on Valor. Let me undo this. Clear all drawings. Just a couple on the front feet. And it was showing this. And so now as I'm restoring his foot and that whole frog is coming back this way and the bulbs are coming back this way, what's good is I'll be able to take some more x-rays here in a couple months and see if all this is coming together and to look more like this down here, like this guy down here. Here, I'll show you his x-rays real quick here, just a second. I got free x-rays accidentally. I took him to the vet to get his teeth and something else done, and her x-ray machine was not up and working like it was supposed to be. And then she finally got it working, and she said since she screwed up and took so long, she'd just give them to me for free. So I got free x-rays on the pony and free x-rays on the front feet of Valor. I thought
What a
that,
pity.
yeah,
You're lucky.
well, yeah, I thought that was like, hey, all right, and I lucked out. Well, you know, I'm telling you, they owe me. I spent thousands of dollars there, you know, thousands of
Well,
dollars on my
excuse me,
dog.
time you get something for free yourself,
Yeah, hey, you know,
because you always offer free knowledge to everybody.
hey, there you
So
go.
it's about time you get something back.
Yeah, okay, so here's his feet. You'll see that square. So this is like from 2010, right here.
We're still
No,
seeing the
sorry.
old ones.
Ah. This is from 2010. Right here, see the square thing?
Okay.
And look at, and now his heels were already trimmed out. Look at this, is clear up under here. The whatever collateral groove, that part, you know, it's supposed to be, if you look at that wild horse, which I don't think I have him on here anymore. Yeah, well, this thing here, whatever you call that, was back here behind the coffin bone, back here. So his heels are pulled forward here. Okay, so this is his foot now, and you can tell there's that groove where he damaged his coronary band here and stuff. But look at the difference in the collateral cartilages.
It
See?
came back.
Yeah, how much further back they are here.
Yeah.
Okay, than there.
And look at the frog below the coffin bone.
Yeah,
You see this black spot below the end of the coffin bone.
well, I'm not sure if I can. I think that's just the shadow. Well,
No,
maybe
it's not a shadow.
it's not.
No.
No, it's frog there. because look at
okay.
the other one. There is something there too, but much more in front.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I can't tell
No,
on
no, no,
that
not
part.
there. Just where the coffin boat finishes, a couple of millimeters in
Right
front.
here? Here?
Yes. Let me see better the cursor.
Okay,
No,
so
no, no. Go down and go to the right. Right, 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 right.
That's your other right.
oh, that's left.
There.
Crap.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Here I am at the end of the coffin bone. Okay,
Go
let's
to the
go.
right,
Right.
right. More. There you are. And see the shadow. No, a bit on the left. There. A bit on the left.
Right here.
There. Exactly there. This shadow under. You see it there? Yes.
I
This
see
area.
it. I see it, but I'm not sure that's what it is.
Go to the other, the new one.
Is that the collateral groove?
Yeah, I think this, see my heels are so forward there. That this is
There,
that
there.
gap on the side of the frog in the collateral groove. That's what that is. What I have found is that frog, as far as I know, frogs don't hardly show up.
Yes, but it shows that
Oh, it's in the wrong spot. See now here it's clear over here.
yes.
And sometimes really dead frog does show up. I would like to just get a capsule and have a capsule x-rayed, an empty capsule with a frog, you know, to see what it looks like.
Yeah.
Because now this, I don't know what that is. You know, there's stuff I mean, perhaps what you're seeing here is frog, but I'm not sure. You know. So
Well,
now
in the last X-ray, I see this gap, which is further back. It is more oval, not round, like the first one, the old one. Look how round it seems in the old X-ray.
in the old one right there.
Yeah. Look
Well, yeah.
how round it is.
Yeah, but see, I think that's the inside of the collateral groove.
Well, never mind. I mean, something went back and became longer.
Yeah, something did.
Yes, whatever it is,
Well,
it's different.
And lower, it seems like I had more soul or something there.
Yeah.
But that's 10 years ago. The one thing I'm glad of is that there isn't any real severe more coffin bone remodeling considering, you know, considering how long I you know, but I do see that there's a little more bone in the cartilage right here than there was here. See that right there. So I did that one dissection where when I removed the hoof capsule, I saw that all the cartilage in the heels had turned to bone. You know, so that's one thing that's bad because that's your cartilage in your heel. So, you know, how much, depending on how much damage that your barefoot trim has done is going to kind of have some bearing on how much restoration you can do. So anyway.
Linda?
Yeah.
I just sent you one of Dolly's x-rays from April when she was way overdue for a trim. I'm looking at it on my phone and looking at the other ones on the computer. It's just kind of cool to compare them.
Okay,
I just
let's
sent it to you on Messenger.
Okay. Let us look. Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, Better share. Ta-da.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Janet, have you ever had any x-rays done of your horse?
No, I've never really had a reason for it at this point.
So,
Almost afraid to look sometimes.
yeah, I know what you mean there. Okay, so here we really see how her cartilages are just totally pulled under here, you know? And as far as I know, that is that collateral groove right by the heel, you know?
I keep looking at the navicular bone too, wondering how navicular all comes into this when everybody's, all of this created navicular as I look at these x-rays.
Yeah, no kidding. You know, well, I think we'll probably maybe find some answers to that. I'm hoping.
I hope so, because God knows it's rampant anymore.
Yep. When was this? This was in April.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
See,
that was April this year.
And you see how when the heels are like this, it just forces these toes forward. Because you've had a really hard time getting her toes to stay back.
I
And
have
when
been
you
battling
tried,
those toes 3.5 years. I've been fighting with those.
yeah. And when you try, she get really sore, huh?
Yeah, and now of course the trimmer 3 weeks ago basically crippled her.
Did he really take the toes
She has-
back?
Toes back, toes down, heels down, foot down.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
She barely could walk out of the stall the next day, and the day
Aw.
after that she ended up with shoes on.
Oh, poor
And
gal.
what was his, back up, what was his explanation for this?
It was a new trimmer that I was trying because I'm 76 years old.
Right,
I'm
right.
trying to
But I
quit,
would-
I'm trying to quit trimming.
What
And
did the trimmer say after the horse was crippled?
well, and it's partly my fault because I was guiding her. She's trimming. She's trying very hard to trim as I was asking her to trim. But I was looking at the horse, looking at what she was doing from under the horse, which meant I wasn't seeing the right angle, and she ended up being way, 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 way too short.
Oh, yeah.
So it's as much my responsibility as hers.
Yeah. So you can't really come back and say, hey.
No, and I messaged her and let her know what happened, and I accepted my share of the responsibility.
Yeah.
Because but to her credit, she was trying to do what I was asking her to do.
Yeah,
which
bless her heart then.
not very many farriers will do that.
Yeah, no kidding.
Marilyn,
What?
did you map the foot for her before she started trimming?
No.
Okay.
There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things in hindsight that I would have done differently and should have done differently, but we're into shoes now for at least 3 cycles.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering next time that you get to trim without shoes, if you did the mapping and then guided her through it again, because obviously she sounds like a farrier that will go the extra mile for you.
Yeah, she's just a trimmer and has had no real formal training.
Yeah.
So, that's good and bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's like you have to teach her now.
Right.
Yeah.
And she did, the first time that she trimmed, she did an okay job, and she asked, who had been guiding me, and I steered her to the TAC Facebook page, and she did join the TAC thing, and she was looking at videos, and she was doing the best she could to trim the way I wanted the feet trimmed, but
sure.
Yep.
it is what it is.
Well, we all know how big the learning curve is.
Yeah.
Yep,
Oh,
exactly.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yep.
And Dolly doesn't exactly have uncomplicated feet.
I would really like to get, and I think I will, when I do some of these dissections I'm going to take and have a foot x-rayed without a capsule on it, and then have I want to x-ray it before I dissect it. Then I want to take the capsule off, and I want to x-ray the foot, and I want to x-ray the capsule separate. You know it?
That would be
Compare
fascinating.
them all.
Yeah, that'd really help us in reading these.
Yeah,
You
you'll
know?
know exactly what hump and lump and curve and hole where it's all supposed to be. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You know,
no
what
kidding.
is this that we're looking at?
Yeah, what am I looking at? No kidding.
What should I trim and what shouldn't I trim? What should I leave and
Well,
what should I take?
Yeah,
know?
Yeah, and the whole thing is you're not gonna second guess yourself.
No.
Because
let's
you'll
say it
know.
doesn't do any good. What's done is done.
Yep, yep.
yep. But look here, I'm gonna do, oh, well, okay, just a second, I'm gonna do something here. Oops, that's the wrong one. Close that. Okay, I'm just gonna take a picture of Valor's last x-ray and of Dolly's and compare them. Just to look at the back of the foot and the difference. Ah, you stupid thing. The difference in the back of the foot. Just a second.
Yeah, because I was
Make me
gonna say, Linda, I noticed in Ballard's has the square and in Dolly's did not have the square.
Yeah,
That's what I noticed too, right off the bat.
Yeah,
just a minute. I'm gonna take, oh, let's see. How am I gonna do this? Wait a minute.
Well,
Trying
that
to-
means that Dolly is so bound up in the back that there's no cartilage really extending.
I don't
Yeah,
have the
yeah,
picture at all.
exactly.
Girls, I don't have the picture.
Oh, there it is.
Here,
One of
here
them.
it came.
I'm gonna, I haven't quite got it there yet. I'm trying to figure out how to do it. Just a second here. Okay, there we go. Oops. I lost it. Where are you? Just a second.
well, actually in Dolly's, I do see a little bit of a square. If you look, like there's kind of a round shadow. And then if you look closely, you'll see somewhat of a little square there.
Right at the very top.
At the back of the foot.
Ah,
Are you talking about that really light shadow in the back?
Yeah, like there's okay, you see where the bulbs are pulled down. Then if you look dead center, you'll see kind of a light gray shadow, a deeper gray shadow.
Yeah.
And just going forward to the foot, if you look, there's a very slight lighter gray square. I don't know if anybody else can see it.
I can
Are
kind
you
of see it.
drinking?
What'd you
What's
say?
that?
I got my pointer on it.
I said, I think she's drinking.
No, I just had a sip of water though.
I'm
That's
drinking
funny.
and I still don't get this.
Let's see.
This requires some imbibement just to understand this. Damn.
No kidding. Okay,
Let me
Here's-
see.
here is,
Uh,
oh, this is Valor's old one.
His old one. You got that
Okay.
far. Okay.
Yeah, where he was still more bound back here, and this is Dolly's. Okay, I'm gonna save this.
And there's
'cause
a tiny little square corner at the very top of the cartilage before it goes straight up
just
On
a
who?
second
on
here.
both of them.
Wait.
I'm gonna
Now
put
she's
it under
stuck something in the
Dolly
middle.
one. Oh, right up here.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that is in the center of the foot.
Yeah, that's the center where
yeah.
it's very dense, where
Yeah.
you're getting
Yeah.
the x-ray to go through. That deep crack is very dense right there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna,
Denser material is going to be brighter white.
I'm going to, let's see here.
Put your name up on the screen.
Just a second here. Okay, so, so I want to do the newer one and Dolly's, so I'm gonna take another picture of that. Okay, so hold on a second and then we'll look at that, which is very interesting. Okay.
You got to remember that the whiter it is, the more dense it is. You got to think of it that way. When
Okay.
you're looking at these.
Okay, that's why the bone is the way it is. See,
Well,
I don't
yeah, I
know
mean,
any-
so when you see the back bulb all the way in the back, the far side from the x-ray machine.
Uh-huh.
If the angle shows it, that's gonna be the lightest.
Okay.
And then as you get to where it's very contracted and you're in that deep groove back there, where you can stick the hoof pick in and it's nice and deep, you're going through the entire foot right through there. You're going all the way through it. So that's gonna be a lot denser.
Okay.
So, you can tell which bulb is the far bulb, which one's the near bulb, and then where you're going through. And you can see, like I said, that dark shadow or the dark line is really following that deep sulcus that's back there that we shouldn't have.
Okay. So right here is the deep sulcus.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the very, very, very light shadow on him, that right there is your far-sided cartilage. The X-ray machine is barely showing. Then the middle one is your near-sided one.
Okay.
And you got to remember how the X-ray machines look at density and how they show it.
Okay. Well, see, I didn't know that until you just told me.
And look how bright white your bone is. The densest material is your bone, so it comes out the brightest white. So the denser the material, the brighter the white is.
Wow. I didn't know that. I didn't.
Oh, sorry.
I had no idea.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm glad you told me.
No, so the denser the material, the brighter white it'll be.
Yeah, I've never looked that up or studied it or.
Oh, I looked over so many x-rays on so many horses being x-rayed over the bed shoulder, asking them questions, so they're going, shut up.
Oh, well, that's great to know.
No, so as you're going through more flesh, fat, whatever, bone is your thickest, then you've got your tendons and everything, which you can see to a point, but that's why they don't use x-rays for tendons.
Okay.
Because it's just kind of a gray blob.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. The softer the tissue is kind of.
Right.
Okay.
So it doesn't have any clear definition like bone does in an x-ray, but you can still see shadows. And that's what we're seeing is the shadowing.
Yeah. It's like the shadow right here.
Right.
Is the lamina.
Right.
See, and coming around
here. But your hoof wall then is thicker than your lamina, so it gives a whole different color. It's brighter white.
Yeah. And I thought it was interesting over here that her hoof wall just disappeared right here.
Well, that's where she's standing on the board.
Yeah.
You gotta remember there's a board under there.
You can barely see a line of her heel right here.
Yeah. So all of that dark area is either frog or an air gap.
Okay.
See how the background on the whole thing is black?
Yeah.
Okay. So black is air. That's nothing showed up.
Okay.
Okay. So when you look under the foot, you're seeing that black. Even if it was frog, it would probably have some grain because it has some body to it, some density. I'm looking at that black underneath between the board and the foot. To me, that's an air gap.
Okay.
Almost some kind of air gap under there.
Okay.
Only because, even frog would be like your cartilage. It would have some kind of shadowing to it.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's physically there. It's a physical body. It's not, it's got some density to it. So it would show up at least as dark as your cartilage is.
Okay.
Yeah, but
to me, it would on an x-ray.
What?
Can I ask a question about that? Because I'm still confused how that could be an air gap. And then the hoof is like not on anything then. So is there something there that the x-ray is not picking up? Like wood or plastic or?
She doesn't have shoes on, right? Well, that would show up horrible. So if she's standing on a
shoes in that
board,
picture.
if
She's on a board, and I'm
on
trying to remember if there was something on top of the board. I don't remember.
Because that all I see is the toe touching. I don't even see the back of the hoof.
right, the back of the foot's not touching anywhere on that one, but on Valor's, you can see where the back of the foot is touching.
I can.
Well, see on Valor's, what happened was their plastic thing wasn't working, and I had a 4x4 post in a piece of post in the back of the truck, and so I put his foot on that. But what I wasn't thinking of was I had to change the angle in this and stuff because his heels went down on the side of the post.
Oh,
So
'cause
you
it was
can,
wider than the
yeah,
post.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah. So you can see the wood in there, see?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is that why the wings were lower than maybe they normally are then?
well, it probably, yeah, I'll bet so too. And stuff, because I had to take the picture and put it in something and rotate it so that his foot wouldn't clear down here in the back,
Okay.
you know?
Did they stand Dolly on some kind of pad on top of a board?
I'm
I
trying to
bet.
remember. They might have, but I don't remember.
Usually the foot's just right on the x-ray machine.
She was on a
I
raised.
mean, on a board, and then, you know,
Yeah,
they
it was
run
on a
right through
raised
so they have a
raised
nice flat
platform type thing.
surface.
Yeah, it was some sort of a raised board.
So I see the board, I can see the support for the board. Okay, but I don't
And
see
I-
where the hell the back of her foot is touching anything.
Yeah,
Right,
that's weird.
And I
isn't
know
it?
I know she was standing square, and I'm looking at the X-rays
My
of the right
other
foot, and
thought
it's the
is,
same thing.
wait, my other thought is when they took the picture, she somehow, without even anyone noticing it, and they move,
Cocked her foot.
she cocked her foot ever so slightly.
The right foot,
Oh.
the X-rays of the right foot are exactly the same.
Because if
With that
she
same
was
gap.
sore in the back, maybe she didn't want to stand on the board. And she just ever so slightly, just like my dog never puts his hiney on the ground. There's always that tiny little hair gap.
Well, and maybe because she had her left foot on the board and her right foot on the ground, and then vice versa for the other side.
You know, because literally that foot's not touching that board.
So
It
she
kind of
may,
looks like
not
it.
have had. She may not have had her full weight on the
Yes.
heel.
But look here.
Sorry, girls, I have to say good night to you
Good
Okay,
night.
well, good
Good
night.
night.
because I have to stand up very early in the morning and I'm just going to sleep
Okay,
on the telephone.
Yeah.
Okay, thank
okay.
you so much, everybody.
Bye. Have a good trip.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I
Well,
say
Bye.
also good night,
good
guys.
night.
Good
Look at
night from
this
Bavaria.
horse and this x-ray, how it doesn't show up hardly down here.
Yeah,
You-
same
you-
thing.
You know that
Yeah,
there
but you can
was
still
wall
see a
going
slight
all the way
shadow
to the
right
ground.
there.
Well,
Go to,
there's something about hoof wall on this side. Well, now look, these have weird stuff altogether. Like,
whose foot is that?
well, this is a domestic, no, this is this horse here, if I remember right, was might have been an adopted wild horse. Okay.
Okay,
And
I
thi-
can see the frog though touching the board there or whatever it was
Well,
standing on.
That might be heels.
On that one? On
Yeah.
the one on the right? I was talking
Yeah.
about the one on the left, on the top.
Up
Top
here.
left one, you can see a very light shadow where that hoof is touching that bright
Yeah.
white board.
But I just wonder if there's something about certain types of hoof wall just decides not to show up or something.
No, hoof wall would
'Cause
show up. I don't care
well,
what color it is.
Um,
It's too dense not to.
well, look at how it looks right here.
I know, that's when I'm like looking at that foot going, okay, there's something under there it was standing on. We don't know whose foot this is.
But that just is weird looking.
Isn't that weird looking?
Yeah, that's just weird looking. But what's beautiful
I
is
think
this
that's
one here.
I think that's a wad of frog.
Could be. Or periople.
Literally, and the horse is
Ha!
standing on a wad of frog.
It's a wad of periople.
Or whatever. It's a wad of something. It's standing
Yeah.
on that.
But now what I want to draw attention to too is okay, this collateral groove here.
The dotted thing.
Yeah, because they did that so they could mark the collateral groove. Right there.
Oh.
See it? This is the this is the anatomically correct wild horse foot. Okay. And so then if you go and look at Dolly and Valor, where is theirs at? See, which is
I can see the line. Wait, you know that dotted thing? You can see that line go almost all the way to the toe. They just marked
Yeah.
it in the back.
yeah,
But you can see that that denser line.
Yeah, they put a wire there.
Oh, is
That's
that
how
what
they
did?
do that. Yeah, they put a wire in the bottom and it shows up on the x-ray.
I was gonna
So
say,
that-
it makes no sense why it's brighter, but that would make sense. The wire did it.
Yeah, and it shows up like it
So when
shows
you
the-
do your x-rays, do the same thing.
I will. That's a good idea. And I was thinking of doing it that way that day. Well, actually, you know, they have even pins that you can
Whatever,
mark
it's
stuff
just gotta
with.
be metal, so it really shows up.
Okay, I'll do that. Okay, now look at the collateral grooves on these two. Well, and Valor here is worse. His, well, I don't know if it's worse, but look where it is. It's clear up here. Oh, wait. New share. Do I got new share? Okay.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. So look at his collateral groove
Right.
right there. Now, in relationship to the coffin bone on the other one, that horse's collateral groove was right here.
It was further
See?
back.
Yeah.
You're right. You're
Yeah.
right.
See, and even
That shows how much back of the foot we have to grow yet.
yeah, no kidding. All this coming back, so even the collateral grooves have to move. You know,
Well, it's going to, because it's going along with the bars and the frog.
yeah. So interesting. See, it'd be great to really get, so we just know what this is all telling us back here, because you know what, they don't pay any attention to this part at all.
No, they just look at the bones.
Yeah, that's it. And if there's some separation in here, they'll
The
mark
bone,
that.
the bone in the toe to tell you how much toe you have. That's
Yeah,
the bone in the toe. That's
Yeah.
in the angle. You
yeah,
know, is it flat, normal? You know, what is it?
yeah,
Or the palmar angle, they're just telling you whether you're negative or not, they'll measure it.
yeah,
Yep. And then how much the depth of sole.
yeah.
Dolly has 4/10 of an inch of sole under her coffin bone.
That's not
Less
much,
than a
Is
is
that
half
what
it?
they
inch.
told her in this x-ray?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not much.
No, it's not.
But you know, well,
That
Valor
tells
has
me
less.
then that her foot was not on that board, because if that's 4/10 of an inch, that
No,
explains.
they just measure the thickness of it.
I know, but I'm
the-
telling you, that horse did not have her foot all the way down on that board.
Right, but they're just measuring the colored part or the white part right under the
Right.
bone, not the black part, just the white.
Right, I know, I mean, I
Yeah,
know, but
that
it just
part.
tells me that Dolly was not standing on that board all the way. And it just
Maybe
happened to be
not.
the second they took the picture.
Could be, but that still wouldn't affect the thickness of the sole.
No, it has nothing to do with
No,
it. It just
no.
tells me that Dolly wasn't standing on, that explains that
Okay.
air gap.
And
Okay,
a year ago, she had less than 3/10 of an inch of sole. So I mean, she did gain some sole in the past year, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, so I think we learned something there, and Janet, thank you for sharing that about the x-rays.
Well, that's just
Oh,
how
sure.
x-rays work, you know.
Yeah,
That's
Well-
why they do MRIs now, to show tissue in a different way, because x-rays just can't do it.
okay,
Exactly.
Lord,
okay.
I'm the queen of x-rays and MRIs right now.
Well, good.
They're not
We
Good,
really.
we'll learn something from you then.
Nice to have royalty in our midst.
Amen.
Oh, I am so screwed up physically. It's not even funny.
Well, because have you been getting x-rays and on
Oh,
yourself?
on the hips, on the SI joint,
Oh,
on the
man.
other hip, on the knee, and on the shoulder. Other than that, I'm good.
Aw. Well, I
But
hope
I
they're able to do you some good.
They will. I mean, all I have to do now is convince the horse to stand still when I'm working on him, and I'll be a happy camper.
There you go. And stuff. That's always nice. I know. And that's
But
the
yeah,
nice
that's
thing
how you
about
read the
Valor.
x-rays.
He's
So,
really
you
good
know,
about that.
You know, like you can tell then where you're looking at tendons even versus where you're looking at, you know, it's just amazing. You just have to think of it in terms of what material is the densest part of that foot, and that's what's going to be the brightest.
Uh-huh. Okay.
You know,
Okay.
Well,
Well,
can I
I
ask
think we're gonna about call it quits here because we've been here 3 hours.
Could
yeah.
I ask a favor either this time or next time then?
Yeah.
You mentioned one time about when you discovered a new heel buttress
Uh-huh.
coming in. and there was an area on the back of the heel that you were advising us better not to trim back like we might normally do. Was that something, do you remember saying that or thinking that?
I know that as I was getting new frog and stuff was growing in and we had the moisture, that I had new heel buttress grow
Yeah.
in. But I'm not sure.
I was wondering if it was like outside the wall or just.
Oh, I'll show you. I
I
understand
know what
what you're
picture
saying.
she's talking about. I remember
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's
Let
kind
me
of
show you
crucial for me.
that picture. Just a second here. Let me hold on here.
I was thinking it might have to do with wherever the new growth was coming in, maybe at the back of the hoof where the buttress was coming in. You didn't want us going crazy trimming frog back or something.
You know,
Like
right
thinking it
this
was
minute.
Periople by mistake.
Oh,
Or yeah.
okay. I'm looking to see.
Oh, I forget where that picture was. You showed it to us.
It was pretty cool.
It
to
was.
See.
I wouldn't have known what it was, but
Yeah, me neither.
Trying to remember.
Now I'm looking for it.
I'm looking for it now. Well, I know it's in. I'm just kind of brain dead right now.
No, I know, but I mean, now I'm looking for it on my horse's hoof. Like, when is it going to come in?
Okay, I'm gonna show you it here just a second. Come on. It's when the bulbs kind of release and the frog is moving and your
we have a blank screen, you know.
coronary band has released and pulled up, and as it's come up, it's deposited hoof heel buttress in place there and been pushed up.
Okay.
Because see, it's curved down under. First I'll show you a picture of that. Just a minute here.
There's no picture yet.
Okay.
There's no picture, honey bun.
So you see this coronary band here?
Yeah.
Pulled down here?
Yeah.
So it's held there in a deformed capsule that has had the heels trimmed out. And look where the frog is here, how it's all pushed forward. Okay, so as you're adding heel here, this is pulling up like that. Well, and so as it's pulling up, it's growing wall here. And so the wall is being deposited up in the capsule as this is pulling up that way. Okay, and then the end thing is hopefully your cartilages will raise up, your coronary band will be straight like this. See, and your heels growing down like this instead of right here. See how they'd be pushing forward?
Yeah.
And see how the heel is being pushed up into the foot there?
Right.
Because see, this is the same foot. This is the foot when I took it out of the capsule, and this is the foot after it sat in salt and borax overnight.
Okay.
See, all that cartilage that had been forced down this way, because this only happened to this horse for 8 months, was pulled back up that way. And here's something else to remember too, is depending on the horse, this frog got pushed, bent and pushed. See the false concavity?
Oh yeah.
And this frog, which he had tremendous frogs, but it was all being forced down this way, and this frog was being forced into the bottom of his foot here. And so all the bars and everything, next time I'll try and show you this capsule I have where the bar was completely disconnected from where it should be in the back of the coffin bone. It had come undisconnected and was pushing clear up into the bottom of his foot like that.
Would I be looking for a little nubbin or something kind of peeking through the back?
Yeah, I'm going to show you. It'll show up right in here. As this is pulling up that way, it will start growing new hoof wall here.
And it kind of adds on to the
existing one, whatever you got there.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's see here. Okay.
And it'll be soft, so I think that's where you were kind of cautioning us.
I don't remember. I don't remember exactly what I was.
Is kind of soft. When it comes
just
through.
a second here. Let's see. Pictures. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to go down and show it to you. What grew on him. I was so surprised, you know.
Yeah,
Okay, just a minute here. Let me get a screen share
thank you
going.
for doing this. I know you're tired.
Oh, that's okay. Pictures. Let's see here. Go down to STUVW. Valor. Okay, buddy, where's your cartilage that or your heel? Okay, well here. Here's one that shows just the beginning of it. Just a second here. New share. There you go. Okay, this is the wild horse foot. And but when I came home and I had been trimming the frog and trimming this out, okay, I found this. See that?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so you can see where this used to be connected down here.
oh, yeah.
See, and so this was wall that had grown in and stayed at the top as all this was being released and able to pull up and push
Okay.
up.
Okay.
Because I've got, but see, I still hadn't, this was, it was after this that I trimmed the frog and saw this stuff and then got the good frog. And
the
then when you
frog-
start getting the good frog, it's really pushing up into here and pushing the back of this foot up. And see, I got it over here too. You can see where it's just coming loose there.
I do,
See it?
yeah.
See,
Okay. Well,
um,
maybe I won't freak out about trimming that all up, you know, like making it perfect looking so it can preserve what's growing for a
well,
while.
I don't know if I because I've been trimming this stuff and thinning it down.
Thinning would make more
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd been thinning it down. Let me see if I can find I know I have some more photos of it.
Kind of letting it detach on its own timing. So
Oh, okay. And this is a while
as well.
later. There you see how much grew.
Yeah.
See, this is later.
Wow.
And this is way earlier over here. That you can see how much it was growing, and it grew from a place further back. Like I guess it was trying to start to grow there too. Let me see here. See, it was growing under that. I'm pretty sure starting to grow under that area there. That was so this is around that same time.
So logistically, I think if I scored, just kind of released, but didn't trim everything until I knew which was wall and which was frog and periople. Just
Yeah.
you know. But I could do a little scoring, like she called scratches, so that it would, or thinning.
Yeah.
To help it release.
Yeah. And see, so this is the live stuff here, and you're always going to have a little bit connected down here.
Yeah.
A lot. There's a lot to learn.
You
Get a
know,
grip, Bob.
oh man, I know. And
But this is
stuff.
helpful because this is part, I mean, I've
See?
I'm not muted. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
My husband's like, how much is there to learn?
Okay. See, you can see it here.
Yeah.
To
watch out for. So good. Thank you.
I was gonna, and it was on both feet, both front feet. So it wasn't just a fluky thing.
Do you remember when Riza showed us how to take a knife and just kind of peel it back like a
Yeah.
real thin, when you're thin, like you're skinning a peach?
Yeah.
I try to do that every time I do the things, and I start where I know I'm on solid heel, actual heel. And then I try to take the sharp knife and just gently kind of keep pushing back, like you push your cuticle back with like, I don't know, a cuticle pusher or whatever. And I just keep pushing back and pushing back and pushing back till I feel like I hit more solid. And I'm like, yeah, that must be where the actual live is. and then I just don't go any further. And I
Okay.
keep scraping the dead stuff off until I hit where it really connects. Like if you hit your cuticle, all of a sudden you just kind of hit resistance.
Here's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was connected down here, see?
Right.
And then when it grew, look at how the bulb extended back, but look at the shape of it. It just follows the shape of the coronary band coming up.
And
See?
yet connected to the forward run heel. So that kind of freaks me out. Like, okay,
Yeah.
let's see that.
You know,
Just
but
keep working on releasing the heel, I guess.
you know, and then I had this stupid ring here too from them stupid boots, but I just figured, well, now everything's coming into a better place. Eventually, I'm going to have heels growing down like this.
Just kind of wait and watch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, I mean, because look, you look at that and go, oh God, that's horrible. But you know, we don't want that. But that's not what's going on. This is expanding.
Yeah.
You know, so it's always going to make your heels run forward. And, you know, I was thinking about how in barefoot trimming, everything they say is actually the opposite of what it really is. Like when they say, oh, they're taking their heels back to the base of the frog. They're actually setting the heels up to run forward.
Well, and guess what? When you were talking about the perfect wild hoof, where the frog was connected all the way down to the ground with the heel, only in a healthy heel, in one that is set up to be healthy. Now I get where they think they need to trim the heels down to the frog.
Yep.
And then they think it's going to grow straight back, but it doesn't. So,
yeah. They are definitely making run forward heels, and eventually what we want to do is we want to have case studies, and then we're going to do a whole picture thing so you can see it, you know, including the bad stuff, you know, to where we have something. I want to put something together, like these people that come and sell you stuff and they show you these pictures of stuff, and by the time they're done, you want to buy it even if you don't want it.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
I have these
Done that.
yeah, life insurance people, they're good at that. Okay, they got this little notebook and they set it up on the table and they show you a picture. This is your family. No, you know, and by the time they're done and you've answered their questions, now don't you think it'd be wise if you protect it? Yes, I do, you know. So I figure we'd do something with the hooves like this, you know, like a survey that leads people into thinking, that leads people into answering questions. And you answer questions and you just get them so they see the truth. You know, if they can get you to believe a bunch of baloney, you could get people to believe the truth, right?
Right. Well, and visually, my whole mind is changing as far as what I like in a perfect hoof than where it was 2 years ago.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
So
Well,
now
me
it's
too.
like, wait a minute, that's not right. No, that's a bound hoof. No, this is what. So I have ugly hooves right now that I'm really excited about.
Yeah. And see, that's the whole thing. The barefoot deal, you're trimming them. You got to keep them like that, because as soon as you let them grow, they grow into monsters.
Yeah.
You
Out
know,
of control. Look out.
Yeah.
Chipping, the sin of the world if they chip. Oh no.
Yeah.
Thank you, Linda. I'm going to head on out. This has been great. I'm so glad I could be here.
I'm glad you
Yep,
were
I'm
here
gonna have to go and feed.
Okay,
Yep,
everybody.
we all should go.
Okay, so these videos here are only for our Periople class. They're private. I'm not going to edit stuff out because it's not public and I'm not selling it. And so, you know, where I mention somebody's name or some trim method or something like that, I'm not going to edit that out because it would take me too much time. But I have people get on my rear end all the time for saying people's names. But guess what? I don't give a rat's butt anymore. And here's why. Because I read these books now by like Bracy Clark and George Fleming. They appeal appealed to the king. They appealed to the Pope. They appealed, and they were so cordial, and they were so polite, and they were so nice, and they never said a name, hardly ever. I'm sorry. If I don't like what Jamie Jackson's research and what he said, I have a right to say his name. He's the one that put that wild hoof out there with the heels worn out as the ideal hoof, right?
Yep.
So I will say that name. I will say the name of that trim. I will, because these are products. Okay. That's a product that they are selling. It is a consumer product. We have consumer product reviews, right?
Well, if they're
Yeah.
putting it on the net, it's kind of up for grabs and it's open. If they
Yeah.
wanted it to be private, then they should say so.
Yeah. And what is this, high school?
Exactly.
What the frick, high school, and you shouldn't be dissing people. Well, I'm not saying he's a no good whatever. I'm saying his decisions and his trim is causing issues. And
Prove you
here's
wrong.
what's wrong with
That's
it.
what they need to do. They need to say, okay, well, what if you don't think that that's right, then prove it wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
So ask what your theory is. I mean, you have a right to discuss and you have a right to disagree.
Right. I have a right to say his conclusions were wrong. Their
Exactly.
conclusions were wrong. This trim's wrong. But see, now people come at me and say, oh, you're demonizing people.
No,
You
you're
just have to be
enlightening.
careful
You're
with all the
actually,
legalities anymore.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with saying they're wrong, but you have to be very careful of the legalities of coming out and just saying someone's wrong without the background and proof, like literally
Okay.
the proof to show it, because then they're going to come after you for libel and slander.
Libel and slander. Well, my God, look what they did to Cheryl Henderson.
Right.
How come she
So you
hasn't
just
come
have to be
after her?
careful, who and where you say it.
but if there are no
Okay.
regulations in hoof farrier,
But there's
whatever
a
that
lot
is.
of fun lawyers out there looking for a job.
Yeah, see, I live in Canada. We don't do that here.
Oh.
Yeah, well, they do it here. Okay, they do it here a lot.
I know.
It's bad.
Yeah.
And they can tie a mess up for so long that they could try to shut her down before she even gets a chance to do anything. It's just the legalities of our lawyers are nuts over here.
They're worse than Facebook.
They are.
Yeah. Worse than Facebook.
So you always have to be thinking,
Be
is
careful of
someone
what
gonna
you
really?
say.
Well, then all you have to say is, in my opinion,
Okay.
and wouldn't that help protect you?
Not normally. I've seen it still you use initials, anything. I mean, I've seen some really stupid things where you thought you were okay in what you said and they still came after them.
Yeah.
Huh.
You just have to be careful. Like, if this is private, that's great. But when you're on the other Facebook page, which is anyone can get onto it,
Uh-huh.
there you gotta be super careful.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe make that private.
No,
Well, actually, those are private because they're private groups.
yeah, but
you know.
so many people are on it now that aren't doing the studies and the
That's
pictures and all
true.
that stuff.
That's true. And I'll tell you what happened one time on my Happy Hoof community page is that I come on there and I was doing good on that page, getting quite a few people looking and stuff. And then I did some dissections and put some pictures out, and then I put some of my illustrations on that wild hoof, that dead wild hoof with its heels worn out.
Yeah.
And so this gal that is part of his organization and one of the main whatever, in his business. Oh God, she got mad as heck. And she come back and she says, you better take this down because I'm going to sue you, and all this stuff, right? But she never did, and I never took it down,
Yeah.
And so then at a later date, I was on another guy's site. All right. And which that was like going to a shark feeding frenzy. I'm telling you what, I never should have gone there and said nothing. But anyway, I did. And of course, all his cult followers jumped on me like sharks on a feeding frenzy, you know. And one of them went and checked to see about that wild hoof. And what she said was, well, I went and checked about that. And they said that, oh, yeah, that was just a foot that he found that was dried up. But they found other hooves since then and they've changed.
Hmm.
And I'm wondering, since when? They're all still looking at that one foot as the quintessential.
Well, and
poster
that's the
child.
whole thing. They haven't posted nothing new for
No.
umpteen years.
But what I
No.
don't understand is how is it that their theories are accepted and if you question, it's just a theory. They haven't proven anything.
Yeah. No.
So how is it that you can't have your own opinion that contradicts theirs? And how could they sue you for that?
Yeah.
I don't
Because
get
he's
that.
an insurance salesman.
I don't
He
know.
he knows how to wangle and talk.
I guess. Maybe it's
guess.
just fear mongering too, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's his followers. All he has to do is have 2 or 3 followers, and the next thing you know, they're blabbing how great it is, whether it is or not, whether there's proof or not. But that's how it happens.
Yeah.
All
I
I
mean,
know
look at
is when
the-
I see all the people that are like coming back now on the other, the open Facebook page, and you can tell that they're all from someone else's hoof trimming
Yeah.
theory,
Yes.
Yeah.
whatever, and they're
see
just
that
in there
too.
now looking for trouble.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
anyone now is in there. It's not just people wanting to learn from Linda. You got all sorts of people in there now,
Yeah.
and there's no way to weed them out
Yeah.
other than to block them as they do stuff and start blocking left and right.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Oh, what is it? Even bad publicity is better than no publicity. There you go.
Yeah.
You know, ask Amber Heard.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, none of these other hoof gurus, so to speak, are
Mhm.
doing any research. So just with what the research is showing from just what we've started, like, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? And we haven't really been here long, but look at all the things that we've noticed, come across.